Guys, today modern AI is quite advanced, except two problems. It is censored and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't, but let me introduce you to one. Shout out to my sponsor, Venice AI, which allows you to protect your information and avoid censorship. Now ask yourself, why should a team of programmers at these leading AI apps be the ones to decide what is okay for you to ask and think? Also, would you be comfortable if the presidential administration could govern what AI tells you? Man, I know I wouldn't. But also, while you think about that, did you know that? Let me tell you this, it's gonna be crazy, but ChatGPT has a former director of the NSA sitting on their board right now, guys. And shout out to that man, Edward Snowden. He called this a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. And we all know how Alexa is. Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. I mean, talk about a violation of privacy. But guys, these are just a few reasons I decided to team up with Venice AI and get you a better options or solutions to your AI needs. Now, guys, you can go ahead and check these guys out with my promo code. So shout out to Venice AI. Now, if you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or government, you can get 20% off a pro plan using my link, Venice AI SET, and use the code SET. Man, so shout out, guys. So make sure you guys use the code. Put it up one more time for you guys right there. Once again, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and have unleashed AI, uncensored AI, go ahead and tap in with my guys at Venice AI, guys. Hey, this is SET and appreciate the support. And shout out to the sponsor. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Yo, this is SET with SET Media, guys, and I'm back with another one for you. All right, guys, we got Trump in a bilateral meeting with the president of Poland, and then we got the media's reaction to, the oversight committee of, the oversight committee's review of the Epstein files. Well, pretty much they released 33,000 new pages that just popped up out of nowhere. Oh yes, and you remember that video that they gave us? There wasn't just 1 minute missing. There's a whole 3 minutes missing, and they gave that to us. So apparently, Pam Bondi just completely BS'd us, and we're gonna get into that. But first, let's get into this.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to have President Nawrocki with us, Poland. He did a good job with that, right? Gave me a little different pronunciation. I said, I want to get it perfect. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Good.
Nawrocki.
I better get it right. And the president's been amazing. He had an incredible race. He came from behind and he won very handily. The people of Poland have taken to him immediately. They really love him. There's great love and respect. He's a very successful man, but he went into a political hatchet, so to speak. It was a pretty tough race, pretty nasty race, and he beat them all, very easily. And now he's become even more popular as they got to know him and know him better. He's doing a really fantastic job. So it's an honor I also endorsed him, so I'm very proud of that. I don't endorse too many people, but I endorsed him, and I was very proud of that, the job he's done. I want to thank Vince Haley for that recommendation. Vince was fantastic, and I appreciate it. And I can tell you who really appreciates it, Poland, because they're very happy with their president. And I just want to say it's an honor to have you. We'll be discussing trade and various other things, the things that you discuss. We'll have a few questions from you, and then we'll get on to a discussion. Then we'll have lunch, and then he goes and he meets with the Pope. And that'll be very exciting. And say hello to the Pope for me.
Yeah,
okay. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much,
Mr. President. Thank you very much, and I would like to express my gratitude for your invitation on me after 1 month from my sworn and from celebration for my inauguration. It means that Polish-American relations are very important, very strong. I think that we have so strong relations that we have never had. And it's very important for me. Our relations are based, of course, on the values. Right? Thank you very much for your support, for your endorsement during my very hard campaign. I remember it, and I'm very grateful for your support. It was the fight me against others, so your support was very important. And the support of Polish people, Polish diaspora in the United States of America. We have almost more than 10 million people here, and they voted for Donald Trump.
They voted for me.
Yeah, and in vast majority they voted also for me. So I would like to say hello to Polish diaspora in the United States of America. Those relations for me, for Poland, for Poles are very important with the United States of America, and they are based on values: independence, sovereignty, democracy. And I think, Mr. President, that those values are epitomized by our current heroes.
Yes.
Kazimierz Pułaski and Tadeusz Kościuszko. So thank you very much, and I hope it will be very.
And all right, now, if you're wondering now, guys, well said. What could Poland honestly offer us? Like, what do we know about Poland? I mean, not too much if you ain't been there. Well, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Poland is one of Europe's largest producers of copper and is also a top producer of silver. So yeah, this goes into the whole trying to wane ourselves off of China when it comes to these minerals that we need for our technology and these data centers. So yes, Poland's gonna help with the initiative. I'm pretty sure if the trade deal comes out, it's gonna have something to do with their rare earth minerals.
Thoughtful discussion around the energy, around the economy and military service. Yeah.
And the flyover was very much in honor of your great pilot who just passed away recently, who was a legend in Poland. You might want to say something about him.
Yes, of course, it was a terrific accident in Poland. Thank you for this gesture that F-35 opened our meeting. Major Krakowian was one of the best Polish pilots, well-honed Polish pilots, and he died. He lost 2 children, so it was a great tragedy.
He was a legend in Poland, actually, a legend as a pilot. He was an incredible pilot. And I think he went to the Air Force Academy, actually. But he was a fantastic pilot, and it was a big setback. The people of Poland are very, very sad. So we thought we'd do that. That was the single plane that swooped up.
And machines, American machines, opened our meeting. It was great. And we are waiting for 32 F-35s in Poland. So it also shows that we have great relations according to the best military equipment on the world, American equipment, which build Polish security too.
Well, Poland, we've had a tremendous relationship. I think now it's better than ever because of this relationship. It's a little special because we fought together, but we've always been very good, and we have some wonderful people, as you know. Duda, my friend, he's a good man and still a big fan of yours, very much so. So it's a great honor, and we're going to talk about trade. We'll talk about some other things. We'll take a couple of questions from the media.
And another reason why Poland is here, he probably wants to work out that 100% on the chips and semiconductor tariff, because that honestly hurts them. Well, and let's be real, there are like 25 IT and other computer services that are U.S. firms. So it's either these guys work out a deal with Trump, or they risk these U.S. firms coming back to the USA.
Will American soldiers remain in Poland? Will American soldiers?
Oh God, we got 200 y'all plus in here. Do me a favor and double tap that screen and like the video. Appreciate the support, by the way. But let's get more people in the conversation by double tapping that screen.
Soldiers remain in Poland.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, do you know something I don't? I don't know. We're very happy. If anything, we'll put more there if they want. But they've long wanted to have a larger presence. We have some countries that have more, not too many, but no, they'll be staying in Poland. We're very much aligned with Poland.
Thank you.
So, you certainly have that. We saw a dramatic picture where we saw the leaders of Russia and North Korea and China together. The first time the leaders of those three countries have been together to sort of show a solidarity. You said that they're conspiring against the United States. What do you think they're conspiring to do? And given this, is it reason why you should slap or would consider slapping secondary sanctions on Russia if they're conspiring against the U.S. now?
Well, I've already done that with regard to India, and we're doing it with regard to other things. And
I mean, here's the problem. I mean, Russia, here's the problem. Putting sanctions on Russia is only going to further push them into BRICS. I mean, let's be real. We pushed them into BRICS far enough, to be honest. They're probably to the point of no return. But Trump still has hope, apparently, obviously. So putting more sanctions on them, I mean, that would just be the end of negotiating. There would be no negotiation with Russia. There would be nothing else we can do. There would be no talks. We literally have to wait to the end of the war. So that's why he's not so quick to put sanctions on them. Also, sanctions don't really seem to work on Russia because now they're buying stuff in like, well, you know, their ruble and Chinese yuan. So they're finding they found a way around the dollar somehow, some way.
I put out a truth last night. You saw that. And I was the one that brought it up. I said, they're only doing this. They're looking to, when they did what they did, I thought it was a beautiful ceremony. I thought it was very, very impressive. But I understood the reason they were doing it, and they were hoping I was watching, and I was watching. My relationship with all of them is very good. We're going to find out how good it is over the next week or two. I think that we helped China very much, as you know, when they talk about freedom. And I don't believe that, and maybe I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't believe that America, that the United States was acknowledged for helping China to gain its freedom. But perhaps I was just that was a sleight of hand. I mean, I was very surprised. I watched the speech last night. President Xi's a friend of mine, but I thought that the United States should have been mentioned last night during that speech because we helped China very, very much.
Well, do you think they should have invited you, Mr. President?
They don't respect that.
Many times, do you think they should have invited you?
You've expressed many times your frustration and disappointment with Putin, but there's no action since you took your office.
And here's the thing, though. It is a bit disrespectful for China, you know, not to also honor the U.S. as well, especially from defeating an adversary that we defeated for them that was whooping their ass. Like, yes, tiny old Japan was whooping y'all ass, and we saved you guys. And you can't even give us, I don't know, just throw an American flag up. Just wave it one time in just one direction. That's all we wanted. But nothing at all is crazy.
Don't you worry that...
You know there's no action.
But don't you worry, what actions did you take? I'm with Polish Radio.
Okay. How do you know there's no action? Would you say that putting secondary sanctions on India, the largest purchaser outside of China, they're almost equal, would you say there was no action? That cost hundreds of billions of dollars to Russia. You call that no action? And I haven't done phase 2 yet or phase 3. But when you say there's no action, I think you ought to get yourself a new job, because if you remember 2 weeks ago, I said, if India buys, India's got big problems, and that's what happened. So don't tell me about that.
And here's the thing, India is also playing victim. I mean, when doesn't India play victim? But yeah, what India is pretty much trying to say is that, oh, he's being unfair. Well, why can everybody else buy from Russia, but not us? Well, because you're kind of funding you're funding their wartime economy. And be honest with you, you're buying their oil. You're also buying their weapons as well. You know, maybe if y'all chill out on the weapons part, we may be able to forgive the oil. But when you're buying both of them and you're kind of keeping this whole wartime economy going, which is causing deaths in Ukraine and all that good stuff, I mean, we got to hold you liable at some point. Like, come on now.
What is your message to Putin?
Right now, there have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill. They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And Thomas Massey, who is sponsoring discharge positions, you get the House to vote on these documents, says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be. And he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir?
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again.
I would say this, and this is where Trump, I think he probably should have spoke a little bit better. The whole Epstein thing is not a hoax. Now, the hoax is that Trump is just he's all over the list. He was probably a co-conspirator with Epstein, all this wild stuff. That's the hoax right there. The hoax is that, Trump is all over the list. He was one of the clients. He was messing with little girls. That's the hoax. Not what Epstein was doing out there around the world with those little girls. No, that's damn near confirmed.
More and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. Even if you look at D.C. right now, D.C., it's a totally safe zone. It's called a safe zone. That's a term. It's a term of art. It's a safe zone because it's very safe. You can walk down the street now and nothing's going to happen. No crime, no murders, no nothing. Because we had a lot of problems with certain places, and we still do. All run by Democrats, or for the most part, run by Democrats. So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success, like ending 7 wars. I ended 7 wars. Nobody's going to talk about because they're going to talk about the Epstein, whatever. I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files.
I mean, they did way more than what Biden did. I'll tell you that. I mean, even though teeth had to be pulled, but more has been done than under Biden. So when everybody tried to say that, Trump is complicit in the cover up and all that, if he was trying to cover it up, then he wouldn't allow the whole committee to go down. I'm be honest with you, even though shout out to Thomas Massie, that one guy, but let's be real though. Trump could have gotten in the way of that if he wanted to. And let's also be real. He could have just stopped it. He could have been like, look, DOJ, don't even talk to Ghislaine. We don't need no more information. We're just going to roll past it. He could have did that. And we'd have all just had to sit there and eat it. But he didn't. Even though he believes that this is just a hoax.
And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having. I think we're probably having, according to what I read, even from 2 people in this room, we're having the most successful 8 months of any president ever. And that's what I want to talk about. That's what we should be talking about, not the Epstein hoax.
When are you going to make a decision on your brain, Mr. President?
What is your message to Putin? Mr. President, your message to Putin?
I have no message to President Putin. He knows where I stand, and he'll make a decision one way or the other. Whatever his decision is, we'll either be happy about it or unhappy. And if we're unhappy about it, you'll see things happen.
Question on Venezuela. Can you give us a sense of what the U.S. policy or what you're trying to achieve with the aircraft carriers or the boats, I should say, in near Venezuela, and also the boat that you mentioned yesterday where 11 people were killed? What was found on that boat, and why were the men killed instead of taken?
On the boat, you had massive amounts of drugs. We have tapes of them speaking. There was massive amounts of drugs coming into our country to kill a lot of people. And everybody fully understands that. In fact, you see it. You see the bags of drugs all over the boat.
And they were most likely killed because they were cartel members, and they were most likely shooting back because, well, if you're a cartel member, you most likely got a gun. No, right? Like almost common sense. Like, why'd they all have to die? Well, they were all shooting back.
And they were hit. Obviously, they won't be doing it again. And I think a lot of other people won't be doing it again when they watch that tape. They're going to say, let's not do this. We have to protect our country, and we're going to. Venezuela's been a very bad actor. They've been, as you know, they've been sending millions of people into our country. Many of them, Tren de Aragua, some of the worst gangs, some of the worst people anywhere in the world in terms of gangs. And we had some in Washington, D.C. We took care of them very quickly, but they're out of here. They've gone. But Venezuela's been very bad, both in terms of drugs and sending some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world into our country. They emptied out, you don't know this, but they emptied out their prisons in Venezuela.
And tensions are a bit high in Venezuela as well. So Maduro, which is the president of Venezuela, or prime minister, dictator, whatever you want to call him. But yes, Maduro, he's pretty much arming. He's arming 1.4 million, or he's willing to arm 1.4 million Venezuelans to defend from pretty much Trump's invasion, because he thinks it's an invasion against Venezuela. Trump saying no, it's not an invasion on Venezuela. It's us pretty much try to stop all your cartel activity in this area.
Venezuela.
Pretty much all through the Caribbean.
And they emptied them out into the United States of America. And that's part of the problem we have. We're getting them out. We're getting them out rapidly, but it's caused a tremendous problem. And Pete and all of the people that are working very hard to rectify the stupidity of the Biden administration, allowing these people to pour into our country with open borders. We are paying a big price as a country for the incompetence of the Biden administration. But think of it, opened up prisons, drug dealers, drug lords, everything coming out of Venezuela. They said, and we said, we're not going to put up with it anymore. So Venezuela has been one of the worst actors in the whole group, and we have a group of pretty bad actors.
Are you wanting to force Maduro on
Trump? Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. At the end of this month, the government or Congress has to pass a budget. Do you think we can avoid a government shutdown?
Yeah, I do. I think the Republicans will vote for an extension. We won't have any Democrat votes. We could give the greatest budget ever. Tax cut of 50%, everybody taken care of, perfect for women, perfect for men, perfect for minorities, perfect for everything, and we wouldn't get one vote for the Democrats because they've lost their mind. They are so deranged. They have Trump derangement syndrome, and I don't want to burn the Republican Party with it, but they really are. They've become almost sick.
I mean, it almost stopped being logical at this point. Like, actually, there is no logic to it. It's just F Trump. It's just like, it don't matter if it don't make sense. It don't matter if we stood on it in the past. We're just gonna go against it because it's Trump, and it makes no sense. I mean, even when it goes to immigration, the tariffs, and I mean, y'all been outspoken about that one. I mean, but let's just be real. Everything this man does, you got to take him to court over and then lose. So at a certain point, you guys are just being petty and trying to slow up Trump's agenda. And man, I mean, actually, what was the last case? I know it was the tariffs. Oh, yeah, birthright citizenship as well. That one's also got to be thrown in court. Flag burning, which is, I believe, is honestly a complete joke. I don't really think that's ever going to be upheld.
You know, they actually think there is a disease. It's called Trump derangement syndrome. They've got it. No matter what we did, no matter how good.
And shout out to my man Jay, says TDS is causing people to paint criminals as victims now. I know, right? It's just, I don't understand it, but for some reason, it's just, well, if Trump hates criminals, we're for criminals. Like, bro, Dems, y'all got to stop this. It's getting toxic.
You could give them everything that they've ever dreamed of, and you wouldn't get one vote. These are sick people, and I think we're going to have a tremendous midterm. We just approved the largest tax decrease in the history of our country. We have things, if you think of it, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security for our seniors, no tax on overtime, deductions when you buy a car and you borrow money to buy a car. First time.
I mean, Social Security is what got the true blessing. I mean, they raised the standard deduction and it's no tax on Social Security. So it's just all around blessings on that side.
They've ever seen anything like this. Middle income people get deductions. You get a deduction when you buy a car. Nobody's ever seen. And by the way, they're selling cars like crazy. Cars are pouring back because of the fact that we have tariffs. Cars are pouring back into our car plants are pouring back into our nation. They're coming from all over the world. They're coming back. You know, we lost about 54% of automobile manufacturing over a 30-year period, 35-year period. They're all coming back. I think they're coming back higher than ever before. We have AI going up. What we've done is amazing, and what we've passed is amazing. But the Democrats, I don't believe, will get one vote. It's very anti-crime. We want anti-crime. They're in favor of crime. We're against crime. You know, they gave us things like men playing in women's sports, open borders for everybody. Transgender for everybody. I mean, they want a transgender for all of the crazy things that they were saying. And, people would say they're
It was the open border, high crime, transgenderism, and constant gaslighting about Biden's health. I mean, yeah, that's what really did it. And of course, I mean, failed policies all over. I mean, look at y'all, liberal cities or Democrat ran cities.
80-20 issues. I say there were 97-3. I always say 97-3, and nobody knows who the three are. This is the best issue of all. They are against preventing crime. They are fighting us. I want to go into Chicago, and I have this incompetent governor that doesn't want us. Do you know that this weekend 72 people were shot in Chicago? I'm embarrassed to say it in front of the president of Poland. 11 people were killed. 72 people were shot. Last week, 7 people were killed in Chicago, a place which is probably your number one place. I hate to say it, and we got to keep it safe. But 7 people were killed. The week before that, 5 people were killed, and 21 people were shot.
Here's the thing. I mean, Chicago's done everything. I mean, they've increased law enforcement. I mean, training, funding. They've done everything they can. But I mean, look, the gangs done increase. Well, their training and funding, apparently. I mean, like I said, they got like 16-year-olds out here with AK-47s. I mean, what can you do? And they're willing to shoot at cops. So really, what can you do?
This is in 3 weeks. So in 3 weeks.
Oh, wait, I got an idea. Send in the National Guard. I mean, we tried everything. Why not take it to the extreme just one time? Since there's nothing, since we tried everything, let's just go ahead and take it to the extreme just one time then. And it really should have been on Pritzker. And I'm not even, and when I say take it to the extreme, I'm just joking. But you guys know what I mean, though. If we can get the same results in DC, we can get that in Chicago, that would be a blessing.
They lost almost 35 people were killed. It could have been stopped. If you look at Washington, D.C., 3 weeks ago, it was the same or worse. And now it's considered a totally safe zone. Restaurants are open. They're bustling. Restaurants, you have to see, restaurants were dying. Nobody wanted to go out. They didn't want to be attacked. They didn't want to be mugged. They didn't want to be attacked even in the restaurant. And you take a look at what's happened. Friends of mine that haven't gone to a restaurant in 4 years, one of them went out 5 times in the last 2 weeks to a restaurant with his family. They feel totally safe. Washington, D.C. is a totally safe city. You're not reporting any crime because there is none. They said crime is down 87%. And I said, no, it's not. It's down 100%. We have a great thing going. I could do that with Chicago. We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago or do we go to a place like New Orleans where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice section of this country that's become quite tough, quite bad. So we're going to be going to
New Orleans, Democratic mayor.
Maybe Louisiana. And you have New Orleans, which has a crime problem. We'll straighten that out in about 2 weeks. It'll take us 2 weeks, easier than D.C. But we could straighten out Chicago. All they have to do is ask us to go into Chicago if we don't have the support of some of these politicians. But I'll tell you who is supporting us, the people of Chicago. And I sort of want them to let it be known. They have incompetent people. A guy like Gavin Newsom, he's the governor of a state that if we didn't go into Los Angeles with our soldiers, with our National Guard, you wouldn't even be having the Olympics there. They were going to take it. And remember this, your top law enforcement officer in Los Angeles said, there's no way we could have done this without President Trump coming in with the troops. We saved Los Angeles and we saved the Olympics. Thank you very much.
Question for President Thank you. Mr. President, in regards to Gavin Newsom, would you be open to a congressional investigation in regards to the specific Palisades fire where it killed 12 seniors to see whether there's any negligence on Gavin Newsom or Karen Bass in regards to those deaths?
Well, hey, there's negligence on not getting people permits. That is negligent. We got all of the federal permits. Lee Zeldin. The federal permits are much more difficult. They were all gotten within 30 days. People could go build their houses. It's going to be years before they are allowed to build the house. And Karen Bass is grossly incompetent. And Newsom, this is a very incompetent guy. I watched him with the hands. I'm saying, what's going on with the hands? There's something wrong with him. Do you watch him? There's something wrong with this guy. But more importantly, he didn't allow the water to come from the Pacific Northwest. You know, they have tremendous amounts of water in California. People don't know. They send the water out to the Pacific Ocean. So I demanded it be open. If that were open during the fire, before the fire, you wouldn't have had the fire because all the sprinklers would have worked in the houses. They had no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants. You wouldn't have had the fires. It would have been put out after one house, two houses. But he stopped the water from coming in. And I had to send in the military to have that water opened after the fires. And now they have water, but he should have more because they've restricted, they still restricted. There's something wrong with these people. There's something really wrong. As to investigation, I view it as a gross incompetence.
Now, there is something wrong with Gavin Newsom because even when it came down to like when, Trump brought ICE into LA to crack down on the immigration problem, I kind of seen what Gavin and Bass was trying to do. They was really trying to get ICE to stop their operations by letting the people get violent on them. They didn't think that Trump was going to pull out the National Guard, and they were completely caught off guard by that. And they were upset that, Trump's agenda was being carried out, even if they liked it or not, with heavy enforcement.
I view it as an ideology that's wrong. It's a radical left ideology. And if I didn't win this election, I think our country would be destroyed. I don't believe you'd be here right now, and our country would be destroyed. Yeah.
Mr. President Trump, thank you, sir. What are the most important branches of interest between Poland and U.S., in your opinion?
Well, it's just the relationship we have. I think there's a great trust and a great, more than most countries, more than almost any countries. We have some in a category that's very special, and Poland is in that category. We have a very special relationship. It's like the question about the soldiers that was asked. We never even thought in terms of removing soldiers from Poland. We do think about it with regard to other countries, but we would never know. We're with Poland all the way, and we will help Poland protect itself. Okay?
I would like to add something. Of course, security is most important also for our relation. And I'm a historian, as you know, maybe, Mr. President.
Sure.
I'm a historian. And this is the first time in Polish history, in 20th century and the 21st century, that the Poles are happy that we have foreign soldiers in Poland. So the American soldiers are the part of our society nowadays. We have almost 10,000 soldiers, and this is the signal to the whole world and also to the Russian Federation that we are together. But we are not like the Poland free riders in Europe and in NATO. Mr. President Trump knows it, because our GDP for military service achieved 4.7. So we are probably the one NATO nation which is on this level, and we will not stop. Me, as the president of Poland, we are going to achieve 5% of GDP for military service, but with American soldiers on Polish soil, we solidify. And we are
so pretty much Poland pretty much scarred. They're like, they see what happened to Ukraine, and they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna let that happen to us. You know what, Trump? Yeah, keep these soldiers that you have here, keep the soldiers here. And you know what else we're gonna do? We're actually gonna start investing in military, because I'll be damned if we turn into Ukraine. So shout out to this man for taking the initiative, because he kind of seen what happened. He's like, yeah, if I don't start beefing up this military, I could be next.
secure.
Mr. President, just about that. You know, Poland was one of two nations that paid more than they were supposed to with NATO. I don't know if anyone knows that, but there were two nations, and Poland paid more than they were supposed to. They thought it was low. And by the way, since then, at my request, they've raised it from 2% to 5%. But Poland was one of two nations that paid more than they were supposed to, which was a very nice thing. Yeah.
What's your message for you were not invited to the parade in Beijing?
Never even thought about it until just now.
President Dabrowski, what's your message for
Never
President?
even thought. It wouldn't have been my place to be there.
President Dabrowski, what's your message for?
Will you visit a restaurant in DC? You haven't gone to.
I might. Sure.
You haven't gone to one in either of your terms that wasn't.
How do you know?
Because I and many other.
You want me to prove you wrong? You want me to prove you wrong? But I will, I think it's something we could consider doing. Love to do it. I love the White House food, but after a while, I could see going to a nice restaurant. It's safe. If you would have said, like the Governor Moore wanted me to go and walk through Baltimore with him, and I said, I think I'm a brave guy, but there's no reason to be stupid. They have crime that's at levels that nobody's ever seen before in Baltimore. They've done a terrible job. We'd go into Baltimore, straighten it out very quickly, too. You know why? They respect our soldiers. You see our soldiers. They respect our soldiers. We'd go there, too. But we're going to have people asking us to go. They're going to want to. And I think the people of those places the politicians are not in tune with the people. The people in Chicago, the people in Baltimore, the people in all of the places we talk about, they want to see us there. And I think we're pretty much waiting till we get asked.
To be honest, if Trump does the same thing he did in D.C. and Baltimore, everything should be okay. The only problem is my fear is Chicago, because that's where guys I like to honestly, they just are too reckless. They don't care. Like I said, they will shoot at cops, authorities, and they've already been known to do so. So will they start shooting at, the Humvees and the camouflage, and army camo? Is like, will they do it? Who knows? I hope not. I hope that kind of, settles them down, but who knows with these guys? So yeah, trust me. And them guys in Baltimore, it get crazy out there, but they ain't that crazy.
And properly. We're doing them a big service. Yeah, please.
You talked about how historic these tariffs have been, bringing in revenue, additional revenue for our country. You've also mentioned before they could possibly replace federal income tax.
Possible.
Do you think that's
Someday it's possible. It used to be. So if you go back to 1913 is when they ended tariffs. We were the richest ever from 1850. It was all tariffs. We didn't have income taxes. From 1850 to 1913. In the 1887s, about 1887, they had the Great National Tariff Act. And it was a group of people that got together because our country was so rich, they didn't know what to do with the money. We had so much money, they didn't know what to do. It was a group of very prominent people that were set up to hand out money to everybody because we were the richest we ever were. Proportionately, we were in 1887, around that time, even in 1913. We ended them in 1913. How did that work out? And then we went to the income tax system, and then we had the Depression. And by the way, a lot of people try and say that, tariffs with the Depression. No, they ended in 1913, and then we went to income tax, and then in 1929, you had the Depression. They did try and bring it back in 1931-32, but the Depression had long started. And
the Depression was a money-tight situation. It really didn't have anything to do with the tariffs. I mean, the tariffs were employed to try to fight the recession. They weren't the cause of the recession.
And this poor, beautiful nation was gone.
Well,
The Great Depression. We suffered for 25 years. It took 25, 30 years to really recover from the Depression. And we don't ever want to see that happen again. The tariffs are vital to the success of this country. When I say I ended 7 wars, at least half of those wars were ended because of the power of tariffs. I was able to say, well, we're not doing any business with you, or if you're going to war, we're putting a big tariff on you. And all of a sudden they announced that the war was settled. I settled 7 different wars, one going 31 years, look at the Congo and Rwanda. Look at that, 31 years. 10 million people dead.
I wonder if he's going to claim India and Pakistan, because apparently India does not like the fact that Trump has been claiming that he brought peace to their little conflict. If anything, India is trying to boast and say, no, we brought a stop to it through our dominance and power. Pakistan's like, yeah, no, we're the ones who actually got the upper hand in this one. And Trump is just there like, look, man, I put tariffs on both of you. I told you I was going to put tariffs on both of y'all, and y'all stop. We'll just leave it at that. But hey, though, India is being a bit petty when they're saying, oh, no, Trump is doing this. He's putting tariffs on us. It's not because of Russia. It's not because we fund Russia's war. It's because he doesn't like the fact that we're not acknowledging him for ending that conflict. It's about that, guys. It's because Trump's petty. Like, okay.
Ed, I got it settled. And a little bit of that one, less than in some cases, had to do with trade and had to do with tariffs. So, it's tariffs are vital to our country. And just so you know, other countries use them on us, but I just use them a lot better. We're in a much better position. We have trillions of dollars coming into our country. If we didn't have tariffs, we would be a very poor nation, and we would be taken advantage of by every other nation in the world, friend and foe. We're not going to let that happen. And we have a very, very big case in the Supreme Court. I can only say this. Our country has a chance to be unbelievably rich again, but it can also be unbelievably poor again. If we don't win that case, our country is going to suffer so greatly, so greatly. But I think we're going to have a big victory. Even if you look at the people that brought the case, they're foreign oriented. They're foreign. Countries have taken advantage of the United States for so many years. And I started.
AKA, if you don't think that there is corporate lobbyists trying to pay these judges to get these tariffs off them, you're tripping. Like, if you don't think there's corporate interest in those judges trying to take down Trump's tariffs, you're tripping. Like, some of these guys rather say F American jobs. I'm trying to go out here and make it in China. Or I want to keep my low wage and low overhead costs in Ireland if you're a pharmaceutical company. They rather screw us over than actually help us. It's kind of crazy how you got to hit them where it hurts and the profit margin for them to really do anything.
With China, last term, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs from China. But when COVID came, the last thing I was going to do is we're going to tariff France and Italy and, others, Spain, when they were doing so badly. But now we made a deal with the European Union where they're paying us almost $1 trillion. And they're happy to do it. You know what? They're happy. It's done. These deals are all done. I guess we'd have to unwind them. We've done deals with Japan, with South Korea. We've done deals with many countries and others to come. And if we didn't have the power, prestige, and dignity of tariffs, and I used them wisely, and people respect America again, and we've become a rich country again. The money coming in is incredible. And again, they use them on us. If we didn't have them, they would use them on us, and we would have no way to fight them. We would be a third world nation. So I think it's one of the most important cases I've ever seen go before the Supreme Court of the U.S.
I mean, they do use them on us because tariffs is used to protect your domestic economy because it incentivizes your local buyer to not buy any foreign products because of the tariff cost on that foreign product. I mean, boom, there you go. So it's funny how they can do it and protect their domestic economy, but when we're we're taxing the consumer. Like, okay, guys, okay.
You gave Vladimir Putin a 2-week deadline to agree to talks with Volodymyr Zelensky. That deadline is now nearly approached. Can you give us any indication?
And here's the thing, though, the Dems are still going on the same lie that, the customers pay the tariff. Ask them this: how much of the tariff? 100% of it? 50%? 1% of the tariff? How much? If there's a 10% tariff on this product, how much of that 10% gets passed on to the consumer? They don't know what to tell you. Why? Because they're just parroting what they heard from CNN.
When you will make a decision.
Well, I'm having a conversation with him very shortly, and I'll know pretty much what we're going to be doing. We've taken very strong action, as you know, and in other ways we've taken very strong action. But I'll be speaking to him over the next few days, and we're going to see.
With who,
I'm going to know exactly what's happening.
Mr. President,
I'm not happy with all the people. You got 7,819 people killed last week. Russian soldiers and Ukraine soldiers, right? Not American soldiers, not soldiers from Poland, but they're human beings, they're souls. They have parents, they wave goodbye to their parents, and their parents never see them again. That's the end of them. Over a stupid war, and I want to see it stopped. Now, we have stopped the money. We send weapons to NATO, they pay full price. We don't, Biden spent $350 billion so stupidly. And it was one of the reasons that this whole thing happened. A big reason this war happened was sitting right in these chairs, this one in particular. So I think we're going to have a good solution, but they're losing soldiers at level.
Yeah, the fact that Biden had no open communication with Putin is a bit crazy, or at least nobody in the Biden administration is wild. But it, like I said, does seem like the plan was just, all right, well, we can't take Russia directly, so we have to do it indirectly through Ukraine. And that's pretty much what they did it for. And hoping that Ukraine was going to win. Betting on your little brother to beat the big bully that's like pretty much your size. But hey, though, you gave him some money and hopefully he wins, right?
levels that nobody has seen since the Second World War. This is the worst conflict, and it's just going on and on. It's one's defense, one's offense. The offense moves a little bit, just a little bit. You take a look, they move inches. They're dropping bombs and killing everybody. The whole thing is crazy. Not since the Second World War has there been anything even close to this. And they're not soldiers from my country. This is my country. But I have a power to end things. That's why I was able to end 7 other wars. And you know that I thought of the 7, basically 7. Those were tough wars to end. Much tougher, I thought, than the war with Ukraine and Russia. I thought that Ukraine and Russia have a very good relationship with President Putin. I thought that would be much easier. I thought that would be in the middle of the pack, maybe one of the easiest. Sometimes you never know with war. You know, war is a very interesting thing. You never know with war. War is complex and dangerous, and what a mess, what a bloody mess. It's going to get done one way or the other. But they have to stop killing all of these souls. They're souls, and we have to stop killing. Thank you very much.
And all right, guys, let's go ahead and get over to the left side of media with CNN pretty much getting into this whole hoax of the Epstein files.
Trump lashing out about Epstein, calling the investigation a hoax.
Again,
actually around the exact same time that Jeffrey Epstein survivors were publicly telling their stories on Capitol Hill,
again,
pleading for transparency. Here's President Trump today.
From what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given, but it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president.
Well, maybe irrelevant to the success, as he says, but of course, relevant to the 1,000 or more victims, relevant to possibly the many men who were in there who were raping children. Well, not a hoax. Jeffrey Epstein is accused of targeting, assaulting, and raping underage girls. That's not a hoax. That's something that needs to be investigated, and everyone should be pounding the table on this. This one isn't hard and it's not complicated. And it's why Republican Congressman Thomas Massie is leading the revolt on this against Trump. As we speak, rallying Republicans to break with Trump and support Massie's movement to force a vote that would allow for releasing every single Epstein document that exists.
I'm all for it.
I care most about the policy here.
I'm all for it. Because here's the thing, they're kind of doing what MAGA wants, but the Dems are only on board with it because it goes against Trump. I mean, here's the thing: if the Dems honestly cared about this, they had 4 years to bring it up and did nothing about it. But now because it goes against Trump, now they're willing to put some pressure on it. Now they're willing to actually get some things done. It's absolutely hilarious. So maybe guys, we just need to play reverse psychology with the Dems. Pretty much just say whatever you want the Dems to do, just say that Trump is about to do the opposite. That's all we are. All right. Like, actually, Trump's about to increase crime, guys. He's about to come to Chicago and increase crimes, Dems. And I promise you, give it a week, crime will go down by 90%.
Not the politics of it, but politically, it's really bad for Republicans. They should just have this vote and put it behind them. 80% of Republicans, it's not just independents and Democrats who want these files released. 80% of Republicans support releasing these files. So they're at odds with our base right now, and particularly the MAGA base.
Well, Massey is being practical, but he's also right there that this shouldn't be political. There's a right and a wrong. And exposing people who assault and rape children is the right side of the issue.
Yes, it is.
If Massey can get 2 more Republicans to join him, he can force the vote on his bill. It is a vote that Trump right now is scrambling to kill. The White House today actually calling Massey's measure, quote, a very hostile act to this administration. Unclear.
Oh, and shout out TB for the baller alert. Appreciate the support, sis. She says people get mad because he's trying to actually talk to people that were our enemies with, that we're enemies with. But why not try diplomacy or talks before we just start saying a coup or start trying to say a coup? or starting a war. Isn't that what we all want though? And I agree with you. I agree with you. And hey, TB. But no, I definitely agree with you on that one. It's like, here's the thing. Why do we really want to consider Russia our enemy? Why not just try to talk with them and settle things down and hope things, go over that way instead of trying to cause a coup or, get military involvement? I mean, we can't treat everybody like they're Iran, guys. Like, not everybody can be handled with the Iran touch of just bombing them and hoping for a regime change. Like, it don't work like that. It don't work like that.
Why they would want to make keeping secrets on Epstein being for their administration, but there you have it. And while Trump sees the Epstein survivors, today had a message for the president, who continues to call what happened to them a hoax.
Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
We are tired of looking at the news and seeing Jeffrey Epstein's name and saying that this is a hoax. We are tired of it.
The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
Okay.
Trump's name was invoked multiple times.
All right. How much of these guys are actually real Epstein victims? How much of these girls are looking for clout? Because now that we put such a spotlight on it, and I know what your thing is set, how could you ever think they just come out and lie? Because people love attention. And what can get somebody more attention who ain't got nothing to do with their time, but automatically claiming you're an Epstein victim and saying everything that the libs want you to say? I mean, how much of these guys are actually victims? I kind of want to know. Because, some of these girls are honestly just coming out. Some of them aren't even really in papers, and they're just accusers. I'm wondering, who's the real and who's the fake. But you know what? We don't even got to worry about that because I got one of the real ones out here. So shout out to this lady. And I think she said somewhere along the same thing as what that girl was saying as well, how Epstein bragged about her friendship with Donald Trump. So, that matches up. But the problem is, though, this ain't the first time we had a fake accuser come out of it that said, oh, I was trafficked by Epstein and Donald Trump was doing this, that, and the third to me. And it turned out not to be true. And I'm not saying that. I'm not giving the casting down on all Epstein's victims. If all of them say that Trump's involved, then okay. But we got some that say Trump's not involved and some that Trump is. Now you see where there's a conflict of interest now that, that there's such a public thing and people can gain attention or get paid to just say, oh, yeah, just be this witness and just say that Trump did something. There you go. But all right, now let's get into this victim right here because she's one of the key witnesses that put Epstein away. Yes, one of the main people that brought evidence to get this man locked up or at least get that charge on him because he wasn't really locked up. He got a sweetheart deal and was able to go in and out of jail and continue his devious deeds. All right, let's get into it.
For talking with us.
Thank you for having me.
What made you decide you were ready to speak out now?
Well, listening to, the girls, the victims speak on my first therapy session that we all had together. And unfortunately, only 5 women or 6 women came. When there's almost 1,000 women, I was just like, these women are so strong. Their voices are strong. Their voices are loud. And I think it's important for all women that have been abused.
And shout out my man Hellbat. We're starting a new Me Too movement. It's called Epstein 2. I was Epstein too. It's like, oh, shit. I mean, here's the thing. It's going to be sick because there are actually real victims out there. And this is going to be, I promise you, because this is what's going to cause a problem, and I hope this doesn't happen, but there's going to be a whole lot of victims that get proven not to be actually be victims, and it's just going to pretty much water down the case. And it's going to ruin it. It's going to ruin what we can actually do here because we got a bunch of victims who just want to play politics. Fake victims who want to play politics. Like I said, I'm not just saying that they're fake. I'm not just assuming that they're fake off the rip, but as soon as they start going into that whole, oh, Trump did this and that, and the more serious victims didn't even say that, like Virginia Dufresne, is just like, okay, you kind of see where there's a girl who's actually really close in the networking with Epstein who's saying no, And I don't believe a damn thing Ghislaine Maxwell said, but even she said no. So if we're going off the facts here, I have to believe the two closest people to Epstein, which was Virginia Dufresne and Ghislaine Maxwell, and they both said no.
Raped or any kind of abuse, to speak up. And I think maybe if I speak, some of the girls that I know will maybe speak too, because there's a lot of us.
Let's go back, and forgive me because I'm going to try to ask you some of these things from the past that you may not remember. But let's just start with your childhood. I know you were born in Brazil. Then you moved to Astoria.
Yes.
And what was your upbringing like?
So in Brazil, it was great. I came to New York when I was 9 years old. My mother came before me, but when I came, my mother had met my stepfather at the time. And I would say, I don't know, 2-3 months after that, I started to get sexually abused by my stepfather. I couldn't have any friends. If I did have friends that came over, like my girlfriends, they were getting abused by him.
Yo.
And somebody came up to me and was like, hey, like your stepfather also sexually harassed me. Do you want to go to the cops? So I went with this young lady and the cops never believed me. And, you know, at the time, I guess I didn't want to speak the whole truth. From 8 till 13 or 12, it really sucked my life.
And on top of that, there were financial constraints.
Well, after my stepfather left and got arrested, and then we basically lived in one room, me, my mom, and my sister. And my mom couldn't get a job or whatever the case was. So I started working. And I think that's what kind of led me to Jeffrey Epstein. You know, a girl saw me that, you know, I was struggling and I needed to make meets ends. And she was like, hey, like, I have a gig for you.
What did she say the gig was?
She had said that, you know, I was going to massage somebody. And there wasn't much specifics, but I wasn't expecting what led on to that day. Because I think with Jeffrey Epstein, it starts somewhere, but then it ends.
All right. So I looked into the girls in the oversight committee, and it does seem like only one of them is accusing Trump of really being involved with Epstein. There was another one that didn't accuse Trump, but told Trump, oh, no, you need to come down. You need to come over here, listen to us, and we'll tell you what's really going on. And trust me. So none of the girls are pretty much saying that Trump was involved with Epstein, or, I mean, well, did anything sexual to them or essayed them in any way or touched them in any way. They're just saying that Epstein, well, that was their friend. The man had a picture of Trump, but nothing like damning, really.
No, with either you having sex with him, whether you like it or not.
So tell us about the first day. You walk into his house. You've described it as like looking like something out of a movie.
It really was. He had a theme. He had a whole library, like based on, like, I would say Beauty and the Beast, you know. He had a weird taste. When I got there, I waited in the office room, or I guess it would be called the living room, where he had all the pictures with, you know, all these elite people. And I was like, wow, like, why is this guy want to massage with me? Like, this is crazy.
And how old are you
at
the time?
I just turned 14. And my girlfriend was like, listen, don't worry. He's really cool. Like, you don't have nothing to worry about. We're going to go upstairs, give him a massage. He's going to give us $300 each, and we'll be out of here. And when we got up there, you know, it started with a massage. And then he wanted us to take our tops off. But obviously she has done that before. And I'm in a room where there's no windows. It's so dark. You can't see the door. It's so dark in there. You feel like peer pressure, you know, and you feel like you just walked into this important person's house. You don't know who he is. You see all these pictures with elite people. You're like, who is this person? I guess I'm just going to do what she's doing.
After you went the first time, you give the massage. Who gives you $300?
The first time, The girl did. He handed it to her and she gave it to me. I went there a couple more times with her, but then I went on my own because he asked me to come. So I would go see him as much as I could, as terrible as it sounds. I really thought there were higher hopes for me, and coming already from a broken house where I needed to
That
support
makes sense.
my sister and my mother because somehow that became my job. I mean, it wasn't said, but I knew it was my job.
Nah, that's not crazy at all. I see where she's coming from with that one. She's pretty much saying like, well, I'm getting paid $300 just to do a massage. And back in the day, I mean, look, we're talking about back in the day. $300 was a lot of money back in the day. So for a girl to get her age, get $300, and you're talking about, well, every time I come here, I can just get $300. Like, okay, perfect. Like, yeah, I could see where she kind of put that together.
Because somehow I felt like it was my fault that my stepfather went to jail, right? And I just had to work. I had to bring money to the house. So he would see me, I'd say 2-3 times a week in the beginning, because when he has somebody new in his life, he likes to see them a lot. So I went there a whole bunch of times and, it led to, unfortunately, he forced me to have sex with him, basically. I really had no choice.
You would describe it as rape.
It's weird because it wasn't like he raped me, but
But you were 14. What was Jeffrey like as a person? Charming, funny, serious?
There was nothing charismatic about him. He was very selfish. He knew exactly how to own you, like you can't go too far. You can't be going out. You can't be drinking. You can't be doing drugs. You can't be talking to people too much. He would always remind us of that. That was always a constant reminder with him, because he would brag about everything, right? All what he would do, and that he was a brain surgeon and he had connections with, Victoria's Secret. So I thought that if I just played along.
I mean, the brain surgeon doesn't add up, but of course he wasn't no brain surgeon. Money launderer, of course. The Victoria's Secret, the connection with Lex Wexner, that lines up.
That I wouldn't be.
She's a real victim. She's a real victim, though. She gets the pass. She's a real victim.
This immigrant from Brazil, and that I would have something to look forward to, It never happened, obviously, because it came to a point when I was, I'd say 16 and a half or 17. He didn't want me anymore. He was just like, you're too old.
Over time, how much money would you say you got from Jeffrey Epstein?
I used to see him 2-3 times a week. That's almost $900, $1,000, right? So,
did he ever ask you to bring your friends or recruit?
He did. Eventually, he did.
What's been the hardest part for you in all of this?
Processing it all, because I feel like this could have been stopped in 2008.
Okay.
And I didn't know that I had this power to stop it.
I mean, making $1,000 a week at 14 years old in 2000, well, pretty much 6 through 8. Oh man. I see. Yeah, I can see where she kind of got roped into it. Yeah, my heart goes out to her, but she's a real victim for sure. Now that's a real victim. Yeah, man, heart goes out to her. But all right, now let's get into these two guys here who've pretty much been championing it, who's been the front runners of this Release the Files campaign.
The co-authors of the petition that the president and speaker are not calling for its passage, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California and Republican Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky. And thank you both for being here. Congressman Massie, let me start with you, because obviously you've been the focus of the White House's hire, as you are well aware. But when you hear those women today on Capitol Hill, and then you hear what the president has to say, who do you think has more sway with your Republican colleagues? Those women or the president?
Well, with my Republican constituents, those women have the most credibility. And I think it's disrespectful to call it a hoax. This is not a hoax, not at all. And it's not going to go away. If the president wants to highlight the things that he's trying to do in the White House, then he should just call for the vote and release all of these files, and then he can move on. But they want to drag this out.
Congressman Khanna, just on those women for a moment. I mean, that was such a striking show of force from all of them today. What was it like for you to hear from them?
You know, I was just moved on a human level. It really, for me, was totally not about politics. I was standing a few feet away from them while they were.
Yeah, apparently they had people walking out the room crying. I think it was what's her name? Jean Michaels or something. It was one of our senators, or one of the guys on the committee. It was a female. Yeah, she walked out there pretty much in tears off hearing the statements of the victims.
Were speaking.
Apparently they got pretty graphic.
Out, almost half of them were in tears. They were talking about being raped at the age of 13 or 14. They were talking about being forced to get other high school and junior high school friends of theirs, knowing that they were going to face sexual assault. It was heartbreaking. And frankly, they are bringing this country together. They are bringing people, whether they're progressive, independents, moderates, MAGA supporters together to say, we need to release these files. We need justice for the rich and powerful men who abuse them. And this is not about politics. This is about morality.
Congressman Massey, why do you think those stories, I mean, they don't seem to be, but why do you think that they're not resonating with the White House?
Nancy Mace.
Well, they're resonating with the public.
That's who it was, Nancy Mace. Appreciate that.
My district and all across the country. And in fact, they were resonating in the White House 9 months ago when the Attorney General said they would release the files, when the Vice President said they would release the files, when the FBI Director said they would release the files, when Trump's own children said that these files needed to be released. Why the 180-degree turn here from the administration? I think there are rich and powerful people who've always been beyond the reach of the law, or thought that they were, who want to remain there. And they're donors. They are donors to Republicans and Democrats. And we need to tell them, I'm sorry, you are going to be accountable to the law.
Well, actually, Congressman Massey, can I ask you about that? Because you're talking about people who don't maybe want their names out there associated with Jeffrey Epstein. These women today, one thing that they said that they are willing to do if these documents don't get released is compile their own, basically, list of people around Jeffrey Epstein and release that. You actually said tonight that you have a plan.
Ryan Dawson beat y'all to it then.
To potentially help them with that.
Yeah, so the survivors said that they had decided to compile their own list. But the reality is, if they try to release that list, they're going to be sued into homelessness. They will be attacked. They will have death threats. And so what my colleague Marjorie Taylor Greene volunteered to do, and I've volunteered to do as well, is to read that list on the floor of the House of Representatives, because our founders put into the Constitution speech or debate immunity, which says that we can't be prosecuted for what we say on the floor of the House. So we're willing to help those survivors get those names out there. And as my colleague Ro Khanna has said, we trust the public to determine who were donors to the Epstein Scholarship Fund and who were users of the women who were exposed to sexual abuse, to differentiate between those two groups of people.
Congressman Khanna, do you support that? Reading the names from these women on the House floor?
I do, but I don't think it needs to come to that. I mean, there shouldn't be burdened to have to come up with the list. You know, one of the things that struck me is some of the survivors said that—
You're right. They shouldn't have to do all that, to the point you guys got to come out on the Senate floor and just start reading out names. I mean, it shouldn't have to come down to that, but it just might be that. Especially if you're saying that they're dragging their feet on both sides. It's not just a bipartisan dragging of the feet, but it's also a bipartisan push to get the files released. So honestly, I'm actually happy that they're doing this, but it's really hard to tell where this is going to go, seeing that they got people trying to hide it and people trying to push for its release. They heard the victims, but who's to say that, everybody in Congress might have, let's say, I would say got taken in by the story of those victims.
They themselves had not seen the files One person pleaded with America saying she wants to try to understand her own memories and she wants to see these files to be able to piece that together. Look, this was such an emotional moment that after I spoke, after the survivors, Marjorie Taylor Greene came over and gave me a hug. I mean, people should have seen the humanity there. And I don't know, after hearing those women, why we just don't release the files. I mean, it actually would make the president look good. He could come out and say, no other president has released the files. I'm releasing the files. My focus right now, and I think anyone who was at that press conference, is how do we get justice and closure for those survivors?
Well, and Speaker Johnson met with some of these survivors yesterday in an hours-long meeting, some of their family members as well. He still does not support your discharge petition. He's saying that actually, Congressman Massey, he called it inartfully written, I believe was his, inartfully drafted. And Chairman Comer said that it would basically, that their investigation they're doing is 4 to 5 steps ahead of where this would put you. What is your response to that?
Well, I support everything that Chairman Comer is doing. The problem is the DOJ is curating everything that they send to the Oversight Committee. So if you drill down into those documents that the Oversight Committee put on the website, you can see that they've been redacted. All of the flight logs have been redacted, and they're running the risk of seeing what they saw with Pam Bondi's binders, that everything that's been released is the same thing that's already been released. And in response to the Speaker's accusation that our resolution was inartfully drafted, well, his placebo resolution, which has no teeth to it, lifted entirely 3 pages from our own resolution. I mean, my staff wrote that, and they were very honored to see that the Speaker used their exact language in his resolution.
Caitlin, isn't the only thing that should matter here also what the survivors think? They were asked, what did they support? And they said they supported the oversight investigation, but they support the Massey-Kana bill. And they were asked point blank about that, and all of them raised their hands. And that should be what the country listens to. I mean, their lawyers have read it, they have read it, and they're saying that's what they want.
Have you heard if what those survivors said today changed any other House Republicans' minds? Has anyone else said that they are willing to sign on to this?
Well, I've talked to a few of them, and they were compelled in our direction. But there's an immense pressure campaign from the White House on Republican members right now. So I really think you gotta give some credit to the 3 Republican women, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Nancy Mace, who, in spite of all the threats from the White House, which are still continuing, went and did the right thing. They're standing up for women by standing up for this resolution.
What do those threats look like? What kind of pressure campaign are we talking about here?
Well, I'm feeling it myself in my own district. There's been $2.5 million of ads run against me by 3 billionaires who are mega donors to the Republican Party. And one of them's actually, I'm not going to say on Epstein's list.
And there's that too. See, this is why I said that there's forces, like I said, outside of Trump that are also working to stop the files, stop the files from coming out. He just said there are mega donors on his own party that's trying to pretty much primary him out, trying to pretty much run bad ads, salacious ads against him. Here's the problem with that. And like the Dems are probably going to do the same to those who are going with the Epstein release. Like, oh, if the Dems don't want you, the billionaire donors on the Dems who are on that list don't want you to do it, they will primary against you. They will put billions of dollars to make you look like the worst politician ever. And a lot of people back down from that type of pressure. The cowards, I know, but it is what it is. Some people care about power more than justice. And I think we've seen plenty of examples.
But he's in Epstein's black book. So I've been taking the brunt of that myself. I think what's being run against me is a threat to other Republicans to try to keep them from doing what I'm doing.
And are you worried that it's going to be successful here?
Well, you know, I've opposed the president before, and he said I should be thrown out of the GOP. And in that race, I got 81% of the vote. So in some sense, I have the Trump antibodies, but I'm definitely going to get a booster shot here.
Well, the White House obviously has been pushing back on that and pushing on that very strongly. But can I just ask both of you, you know, when Trump's calling it.
And shout out to my man Hellbat. I would like to see an arrest followed by the files. To be honest, I think if there's names get out there too soon, well, yeah, prosecution of the offenders would be difficult. Yeah, that would be definitely true. If it gets out there too soon, and these billionaires start hopping on their jet that's in their backyard, oh man, I mean, it's a wrap. I mean, once they go, like, what can we do? I mean, once they hit us with the Goku, what can we do?
A hoax. One thing he said today.
I mean, God forbid they run off to Israel. Then it's going to be a real problem getting them back.
Again, this is not about the two of us. This is about the survivors. And I think they made clear what they want. They want the files released with the financial information, with the witness memos, with an understanding of who covered up for Jeffrey Epstein and Maxwell. I mean, they were rich and powerful people who knew that Epstein was raping and abusing young girls and said nothing. And they were rich and powerful people who prevented him from being prosecuted. And then there were rich and powerful people who were got some of these survivors farmed out to them. That's what they said. They want that exposed and they want accountability. And I just want to say about Thomas Massie, look, he's a profile in courage. I hope I don't hurt him in his primary by saying that. But this is about big money. It's about big money that denied justice for the survivors. It's about big money that's stopping these Epstein files to be released. And it's big money that's threatening people like Thomas Massie or any person or any Republican who's willing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, it's not even Trump. At a certain point, I don't even think Trump is trying to stop it. There's forces outside of Trump that honestly do not want this released. If you don't think that there are billionaires with their own self-interest that's just saying, bro, F Trump trying to stomp on it, I'm going to stomp on it. I'm going to go ahead and take this, extra little $5 billion I got in my account because I'm worth $100 billion. I'm going to take this little 5. I'm going to primary against whoever's on that goddamn committee trying to push these files out. And I'm going to get their ass up out of here. And I'm going to make them lose power. And I'm going to see if they really about that life. Either they lose their power or they push for justice. Let's see who they really are. That's, if I was that evil billionaire, that'd have been me.
To sign that discharge petition.
Can I ask you, Congressman Khanna, do you believe that this effort is losing steam as some people have suggested tonight?
No, I'm actually confident we're going to get to 218. I don't want to go into all the strategy because when we've been more transparent about it, it's just led to a Trump response. But we have a plan. I'm very, very confident that we're going to get there.
Yeah, and Congressman Massey, you too?
Yeah, I'm very confident. I confided to one of the White House individuals who's working against me right now. I said, my mistake was getting 12 Republican co-sponsors on this bill before we were eligible to get signatures because I just telegraphed to you the 12 people that you needed to whip. And he kind of laughed and he said, yeah, but we're going to get to 218. This is going to happen within a few weeks. And I think they're going to panic here. There's going to be a lot of pressure again on the 3 women who have co-sponsored this on the Republican side to take their names off. But I think they're going to...
Whatever billionaire to try to put their money up against Massie at this time, I'm going to lie, like, you're stupid and desperate. Like, whoever's putting up their money against Massie, take their ass to jail. Take them to jail. Because that's all, in my opinion, that's an admission of guilt. I don't know. You're putting up money against the guy who's trying to release the Epstein files to try to catch all these billionaire pedophiles. You're putting money up against that guy. You're running bad ads against that guy. Like, talk about terrible timing, my friend. Like, right now, he's the hero of the GOP in this specific sense right here when it comes to the Epstein files. But, bro, like, to run like salacious ads against him, to try to primary him out of his position now of all times, yeah, it's not a good look.
To stay strong.
Like, man, that's like the worst time to try to get somebody out of there. But hey, it is what it is. I guess they really don't care about the optics of it. I mean, I don't know. I guess when you're that rich, they don't really give a damn about subtlety. But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get on to the next video. You know what? We're going to go ahead and take it on to the right side of media with Laura Ingraham.
Dems death spiral. That's the focus of tonight's angle. All right, the speculation is over about what Democrats in 2025 want. I know you've been wondering. I got it. They want more criminals and illegal aliens in our cities. And listen closely. They want President Trump dead.
When I came back in the office, I was shocked to learn that this weekend, the biggest story was frenzied social media rumors speculating whether Donald Trump had died.
Yo, that's
For the
crazy.
record, Donald Trump is very much alive, okay? And no.
That's some crazy rhetoric right there. I mean, wow, to actually sit there and you kind of wish death on a man. You can't say that's not TDS. When you're out there literally wishing death on somebody, that's next level hatred. And well, come on now, that's deranged.
We like our presidents alive.
Here's the thing, Donald Trump will never die. Forget it. He's like Dracula. He's going to keep sucking the life out of us forever.
I'm crying.
A couple of sweethearts. And just like Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, who just a year ago, liberals insisted to us was Mr. Midwest nice.
You get up in the morning and you doom scroll through things. And although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying. There will be news sometime. Just so you know, there will be news.
He might as well be a comedian because he's not a serious person. But they're all seriously sick.
Yeah.
The same people who helped cover up Biden's blatant decline are suddenly concerned about the president who works 18-hour days.
His father, I believe, died out of the complications of Alzheimer's. He's showing clear signs that he isn't well. His face looks like it's coming apart. He's got all these bruises all over his hands.
We may never know.
I mean, the reach is crazy. The reach is crazy. Look like his face is falling apart. I'm like, okay. The bruises on the hands, okay, cool. If you want to talk about, well, he's orange one day and then he's sickly white the next day. All right, whatever. Okay, we can hear that argument as well. But bro, to sit there and say the man literally melting before our eyes is crazy. That's a reach.
Why Donald Trump suddenly spent a week hiding entirely from the American public. But you don't actually need baseless online conspiracies to explain why he might not want to show his face in public right now. I mean, for starters, there's the polling, and boy, is it brutal.
Yeah, you know what's really brutal, Jen?
The ratings.
Video archives.
I never saw that person, not a single time, and I was in the Oval Office every day, that was on that debate stage. I'm not a doctor. Aging happens quite quickly. Cover-up is a very loaded term. It's a bit of a dangerous term.
Oh,
well,
really?
their years-long denial about Biden and current wishful thinking about Trump's health proves our point. Democrats are in a total tailspin. Now, take it from a longtime columnist for the New York Times, one of their top reporters for decades, a proud liberal. And he thinks right now Trump is running circles around the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
Thomas Edsall writing, President Trump is winning. Universities retreat under pressure. Law firms submit to extortion. Scientific and medical research funding has been decimated. Federal employees face ideological purges. Tariffs are imposed as political weapons. The military has become a domestic police force, and the administration is demanding that cultural institutions mute or even eliminate criticism of the worst aspects of America's past.
That's what we voted for, baby.
The president targets each constituency in isolation, leaving all divided and vulnerable. Now, obviously total hyperbole, but it kept getting better and better. I was smiling all morning long. So if someone like Edsall is bemoaning Trump's wrecking ball presidency, well, you know Trump's on the right track. He's moving on multiple fronts simultaneously to undo the mess that Biden created. And Edsall, he goes on in this piece to warn that the disunity of the opposition is giving Trump an open lane. He says that, Trump is wreaking havoc, irreparable havoc. And, it's 3.5 more years at a minimum to continue his wrecking ball presidency. And he goes on to talk about the disunity of the opposition. Well, that, my friends, is something to behold. But actually, I got to say, it's not fair. Just for Edsall to say there's disunity in the opposition, because Democrats are united, but not in finding solutions to big problems. They're united in
not first finding solutions for their constituents, like, crime, jobs, and all that good stuff. I mean, can you imagine being a Dem, right? Can you imagine you're a Dem in one of these cities that, you know, used to have a steel factory is trying to get made there. You're hearing about it. And all of a sudden, you're hearing about the Dems trying to take down the tariffs that are getting these jobs brought back. How would you feel as a Dem? You'd be like, yo, what the F are you guys doing? I thought you were for the American workers, not the Asian workers, not the Indian workers, but the American workers. What the hell is going on? And then you're talking about the profits of corporations. I thought we were the ones going against the corporations. What is going on? Oh, it's because Trump's doing it. So now y'all just completely flip script. Okay, I get it now. I get it. No real substance.
Anger and resentment. And I'm telling you, this anger and resentment has totally overwhelmed their common sense. They're so lost that there isn't one Democrat in leadership who will stand up tonight and say, no, we don't want a socialist takeover of New York City. And they're even afraid of a 33-year-old privileged neophyte like Zohran Mamdani. And they're so tied in with the pro-trans agenda that after that Minnesota school shooting and everything we learned about...
Oh, guys, make sure y'all double tap the screen and like the video. Appreciate the support, by the way. If you have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements, I'll be happy to read it out loud and engage with it. And of course, if you want me to go ahead and look up something, make sure you try to ask it in a question, or if you're trying to have a disagreement or whatever. I would love to hear the disagreements. And of course, whatever funny jokes or comments you guys got. All right, guys, let's get right back into it.
About the shooter, they won't even ask the obvious questions about how aggressive gender reassignment propaganda is affecting American kids. So all of this turns off regular Americans. But after J.D. Vance visited with families today in Minneapolis at that Annunciation School, he showed us all why Trump and he won, and won big in November.
I have never had a day that will stay with me like this day did, because I really felt like these parents, in the midst of the worst grief of their entire lives, they opened up their lives and they opened up their hearts and they made me part of it.
The desperation of today's piece in the New York Times is consistent with the panic that we see almost every day on the left. Now, I want to be clear here. They're not afraid that Trump's going to declare martial law or suspend elections. Oh, come on. That's all a smokescreen. It's so stupid. They're afraid, though, that people and Trump together, the people, the voters, are too strong for the left. And they're right. Because we live in a republic, and in a republic, when one party goes crazy and devotes itself to unpopular positions like open borders and the trans agenda, well, that party loses power. So if the Democrats want to come back, they need to spend less time complaining about Trump or wishing he was dead and more time looking in the mirror. And that's it.
I mean, honestly, just like, look, bro, just don't even look in the mirror. Just get you a paper and a pencil, get you a pencil and a piece of paper and start writing down some policies. Look, write down what Trump's doing and then write down how you would make it better, or you can give a better solution. That's all we want to hear. We don't want to hear no more bitching, no more complaining about Trump, nothing. We want to hear solutions. If we can hear some solutions, you guys can low-key have some ground again. But if all you guys have is crying about Trump and no solutions, but just crying about Trump, then you guys are going to be in the same place, well, that you guys were in 2024. I mean, well, Saudi and misinformed. Yes, Saudi and misinformed. Because y'all guys thought y'all were going to win that. Y'all thought y'all had the upper hand, but you kind of see where the American people was really leaning towards. And even then, you guys deny that. It is what it is. Y'all learn y'all lesson eventually. I mean, I can't be hard-headed forever now. I mean, that's just... you know what? It could be y'all one talent right there, being hard-headed. I'll tell you that. And y'all can be hard-headed in a good way as well. You know, sometimes. But all right, guys, let's keep it on the right side of media. Let's get to Jesse Waters. Probably one of my favorite guys on. Well, yeah, I would say Jesse. All right, guys, let's get right into it.
And when you have guests, you got to break out the fine china. Or if you're the president, the jets. Trump had 4 F-16s and 4 more F-35s conduct a flyover for the new president of Poland. The F-16s or to honor a Polish pilot who just died during an air show. The F-35s were more of a test drive, since Poland just signed a $2 billion contract to buy 20 of them. After the flyover, they hit up the gift shop for signed MAGA hats. The 4 more years hats flying off the shelves. This comes 2 weeks after Trump had Zelensky.
And shout out TB with the threat of the National Guard coming in. Chicago went crazy this weekend. It's like they're asking for him to send them. I know, right? Like literally. And I love to see it because I was like, thank you. Like, don't let these rich Democrats and don't let the white liberals sit there and lie about what's going on in y'all city. They will never step foot in y'all area. They will never send $1 into your area. They literally drive past your area with their windows up, but they want to sit there and tell the story of your area and say to y'all that y'all don't need no help. That's what they're doing. Remember, guys, the Dems will literally throw a blanket over a problem just to win a political argument. I mean, they did it with the Venezuelan immigrants in Colorado. They lied about that. Why? Just to win a political argument. I mean, Haitians in hey, oh man, the Haitians in Springfield, Ohio, put a blanket over that just to win a political argument. It's just what they do. They will literally hide the situation or hide the suffering of their own constituents to win a political argument.
He and the European allies in the Oval in a show of diplomatic force.
Sick.
The stakes are high. There was another show of force across the globe. In Beijing, Xi had some friends over for dinner. Putin and Little Rocket Man got the red carpet treatment. Modi from India was there. He hadn't been to China in 7 years, but wasn't ready to march in the parade. Xi, Vlad, and Kim wanted a little alone time. They got caught on a hot mic.
Yeah, the hot mic was hilarious. The hot mic was pretty much Xi, which is actually pretty scary to think about. And it was honestly a flex towards Trump. Xi was pretty much saying, hey, man, hey, look, we got some technology here in China, man. Look, we can go ahead and regrow your organs, dog. Like, wait, regrow your organs? Like, bro, look. 70 is young now, man. Who has time to be dying at 70, bro? You can live to 150, which is actually funny because I read the studies in on that no matter how much we can regenerate our organs and all that, for some reason the human mind will not live past 150. I guess after that you got to go to heaven or through the reincarnation cycle. It is what it is. But yeah, that's what the Chinese people were. That's what Xi was talking about. It's like, oh yeah, I'm 70, but trust me, I'm young because I got these regrowable organs or something like that, or bioteched out organs. Like shit. Shoot, let me get one or two.
And it was a little weird.
In the past, people rarely lived longer than 70 years. But today, they say that at 70, you are still a child.
Human organs can be continuously transplanted. The longer you live, the younger you become, and can even achieve immortality.
Just two dictators.
Okay, so not regrowable organs, but just constantly transplanted. So you're pretty much always going to have a heart, spleen, and liver on deck. I mean, I don't know. Somewhere in your closet, you just got the jars of every organ in there, just in case something crazy happened. You feel me? Yeah, you might even got like a whole spare leg in there, like literally.
Fantasizing about immortality. If you ever wondered what they talked about when they didn't think people were listening, that's it. Trump wasn't there, but he sent Xi a message. Please give my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un as you conspire against the United States of America. The Chinese leader also showed off his toys. He took Vlad and Kim to the military parade, gave them a look-see at his nuclear triad. And they even laid eyes on his robot wolves and underwater drones.
Robot wolves.
CNN was downright giddy.
We're watching live pictures tonight, right now, a massive parade underway in Beijing as the Chinese president.
No, it's so crazy. It's so crazy that I didn't watch that. I watched the American one, but I didn't watch the Chinese one. Why? Because why the hell would I? It's kind of wild that Dems didn't want to pay any attention to the American military parade, but they got all eyes on deck on China. I'm like, bro, whose side are y'all on, bro? Even when we was going through the trade war in the first stages, you guys was hyping up China. Like, are y'all American or not? Like, bro, whose side y'all standing on at a certain point? Is you on the dollar or the yuan side? Who do y'all stand for? Is it the American people or is it the CCP? Like, who? Because I'm a bit confused sometimes the way these guys report, especially at CNN. I'm like, bro, I don't know. I just don't know with them.
President Xi Jinping is
It's
showing
almost
off his
offensive.
country's arsenal and military might to the world.
This is a message of strength. This is a message of victory. After all, they are commemorating the 80th anniversary of the surrender of Japan. This is
that we did. I mean, first off, how y'all celebrating a surrender that we got y'all to? If we didn't drop those bombs on Saran, I'm not Saran, but if we didn't drop those bombs on Japan, they would have kept going because they were known for being relentless bastards. And shout out to them. So hold on, you tell me y'all can't even, I don't know, wave an American flag, like just one American flag, just one, just two, really, to honor both the bombs that we dropped on Japan so they would surrender. I mean, I'm not too proud of that history, but hey, if you at least recognize us for getting y'all there.
a demonstration to China and the world that China is strong, it can protect itself.
Oh, CNN lavished more praise on China's military parade than Trump's. Remember?
Yeah.
We don't need a military parade. We don't need to spend millions.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. It's like literally, I remember them not even really trying to cover it. They wasn't even trying to show it on the television. But then y'all over here show it. Bro, what? But y'all go show China though? Whose side are y'all on?
Oh, CNN lavished more praise on China's military parade than Trump's. Remember?
We don't need a military parade. We don't need to spend millions or maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to do that. But we want to do it because he has to feed his inner image monster.
CNN won't celebrate our military, but they're celebrating China's.
I know. It's like, you know, China throws a military parade. It's all good, man. It's all good. It's a strong show of power. It's pride. We do it. It's a show of authoritarian and a dictator. It's the show of the future police state. I know, wild. I mean, China has tariffs. They're protecting their domestic economy and all that good stuff. We impose tariffs. We're taxing our consumers to death. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. All you got to do is switch out the country and they sing a different tone.
Victory over Japan. It wasn't China that made the Japanese surrender in World War II. It was us. Japan colonized large swaths of China, Manchuria, Inner Mongolia, Taiwan, Hong Kong. Mao won a few small battles, but it was the U.S. military that decimated the Japanese empire in the Pacific theater.
Y'all wasn't beating
and
Japan.
Forced their surrender with atomic bombs, too. We basically...
Like, y'all wasn't beating Japan, bro. Japan put the hands on Russia. They beat Russia at sea. Trust me, like, for some reason, Japan was quite the formidable foe in in World War II. They was pretty formidable. Like, we had to drop a bomb on them for a reason.
Liberated their country. Have the Chinese said thank you?
Not just because we want to test it, but that is one of the reasons.
Ceremony. I thought it was very, very impressive. But I understood the reason they were doing it, and they were hoping I was watching, and I was watching. President Xi's a friend of mine. But I thought that the United States should have been mentioned last night during that speech because we helped China.
Thank yous go a long way, especially if you want to do business, and especially if you want to do business with Trump. Trump's not too happy with India either. Modi shouldn't be cozying up with the Chinese. India is a democracy, an ally, and a key player to counter China. But they've been buying sanctioned oil from Russia on the black market. India doesn't have oil. And Russia's their neighbor, so it makes sense to buy it from Putin. But they're feeding Russia's war machine and making it harder for Trump to make peace in Ukraine. So we hit the Indians with tariffs. But we've got to give them a new source of energy. The Mideast owes us after we bombed Iran and gave them AI. So they should sell oil to Modi to wean them off Vlad's teeth.
And the problem is, though, are they going to sell it to Modi at the same price or lower than they were getting it from Putin? Because, I mean, here's the thing, though. Are we really going to sit here and expect India to pay higher gas prices because we told them to? I mean, of course not. So if we don't have a cheaper option for them, just telling them, hey, go buy this oil over here because, you know, we're telling you to and it helps us out with Russia. I mean... shit, it helps us out, and I would love it if they did it, but it's not the most reasonable. It's not the most, I would say, possible logical conclusion. I'll say this. I don't really see it happening logically just because of how well Modi is. And he's always been the type to kind of, well, show his ass whenever every time there's any type of aggression shows toward him. So, hey, it is what it is.
Vlad lost his customers in Europe. Now America is selling energy to the French and Germans. So Putin's putting down a big old pipeline to China. It's supposed to.
But have we butted heads with Japan since? Now, who are the biggest who are the biggest bad actors now? I'm side-eyeing China and NATO. Shoot, at this point, we got a side-eyed India too. We got a side-eyed India too at this point. But yeah, I'm also just looking at China and NATO. Mainly China for economic reasons, because they do want to economically dominate the entire world, and they make it pretty damn obvious that they want to do so. And as far as NATO goes, well, I mean, shoot, we remove ourselves out of NATO, and NATO is just it just falls apart, and they stop being so rambunctious. Or we sit here and we let these guys create their own NATO, Russia, China, and who was the third guy who pulled it? It was Russia, China, and South Korea. If those nuclear powers ever just teamed up and say, we're NATO now, and we get to impose our will. I'm gonna be honest with you, we got a World War II scenario. It's looking like World War III. We got our two teams, and it's looking like we're ready to play in the worst type of way.
To be finished next decade and supply 15% of China's energy. Russia and China are growing closer. Someone might have to bomb that pipeline like Nord Stream. Trump's not thrilled with Pooty Poot.
All right, chill, Jesse.
I have no message to President Putin. He knows where I stand, and he'll make a decision one way or the other. Whatever his decision is, we'll either be happy about it or unhappy. And if we're unhappy about it, you'll see things happen.
Now, the media says Trump hasn't done enough. The president said, I'm just getting started.
You've expressed many times your frustration and disappointment with Putin, but there's no action since you took your office.
How do you know there's no action?
But
really?
Don't you worry?
Wait. Who are you with?
I'm with Polish Radio.
Okay. How do you know there's no action? Would you say that putting secondary sanctions on India, the largest purchaser outside of China, they're almost equal? Would you say there was no action? That cost hundreds of billions of dollars to Russia. You call that no action? And I haven't done phase 2 yet or phase 3. But when you say there's no action, I think you ought to get yourself a new job.
Putin blows off and drags out the Zelensky meeting and keeps escalating the war in Ukraine. Trump doesn't have a choice but to ramp up sanctions and tariffs, and he might have to turn the Europeans loose and add more firepower. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. The China trade deal, that's the one.
Trust me, Jesse. The Europeans ain't going to step over Ukraine. I mean, like I said, we'll send all the weapons into there, but we will not fight for Ukraine. We'll give weapons to Ukraine. We'll sell weapons to Ukraine. Sure, we'll even give them some intel. But as far as putting boots on the ground, nope, won't do it. And that's exactly what they need to win this war, or to push Russia out of their land. If not, then Russia is going to be taking about 10 to 20% of Ukraine, and we're just all going to have to take that one to the chin. As much as we don't like it.
White whale. If he captures it, it puts Xi in check, and India falls back into our lap, and we can do business with Modi. Remember, that's where Apple's setting up shop. Trump's already stopped wars in Asia, Africa, and the Mideast. He's just embarrassed that every time a world leader comes by to sign a peace deal in a Democrat city, they have to dodge bullets.
They are against preventing crime. They are fighting us. I want to go into Chicago, and I have this incompetent governor that doesn't want us. Do you know that this weekend, 72 people were shot in Chicago? I'm embarrassed to say it in front of the president of Poland.
Chicago looks like Baghdad. And Trump's trying to save lives at home, just like he is overseas. Ribs won't call him and admit he needs help. Lightfoot, remember her? She's back. And she says, what warfare? Here comes the lawfare.
If he comes to Chicago, he's going to be in court. And he's going to be sued by the state. He's going to be sued by the city. And I believe that there will be private interests that also sue him. This is not about violent crime. And I don't think we should pretend that this manufactured crisis and his attempt to provoke people in Chicago is legitimate exercise of power. It is not.
And here's the crazy thing is, you could tell all we got is radical liberal judges, radical Democratic judges in the court, because that's all they got. When I tell you that the left literally has no power and all they have is their Biden and Obama appointed judges. This is why all they can do is just sue Trump, national injunction, do everything they can to just try to slow down his agenda because that's all the power they got. Now, I mean, they don't got enough seats to try to stop his bills from going through, and they don't even got enough political sway to make everybody believe that he's just this evil dictator. So, I mean, all they could do is really sit there and hold him up in court all day. Tough.
There's nothing manufactured about 57 shot. I bet if the guard were there wouldn't be so many holes in bodies. After Mayor Johnson blamed guns and Republicans, an alderman said, "The joke's on you."
I'm actually quite surprised he didn't blame the Confederacy, Richard Nixon, or colonialism for why we have all the problems in this.
And shout out to my man Hellbat. She rolled bad luck on the eyes. Shout out Hellbat. She rolled bad luck on the eyes. Wow. All right, shout out to my man Jay. He's like, "Set, there's a portrait of Pritzker in Discord." Oh, no, I might have to see that one.
City of Chicago, because those are also his go-tos.
JB Back Ribs has been complaining about how tough this week's been. All of this negative
JB Back Ribs is crazy.
He needs to lose weight. Hegseth says, "You got to be kidding me."
JB Back Ribs. Oh, all right, that's funny.
It's been a tough 10 days for the governor. What about the people that live in Chicago? What about the folks that live with unending violence right in their backyard, with an incompetent government and mayor and governor who are unwilling to provide just basic security?
Because they refuse to admit that gangs have taken over parts of Chicago. I mean, by taking over, I mean that the cops can't even liberate it. You can send the cops there and the cops going to get shot at. So it's literally have been taken over, occupied. And they're saying that the National Guard is going to occupy Chicago. Shit. I'm sorry, but some gangs already occupy Chicago, parts of it. It's a bit ridiculous. So if the National Guard comes through, they're liberating parts of Chicago.
So I don't feel bad for Governor Pritzker. He should be welcoming support.
Now, the Democrats have been saying Donald Trump is only targeting blue states. Why doesn't he send the Guard to red states? Well, he is.
Mm-hmm.
I could do that with Chicago. We could do that with New York. We could do it with Los Angeles. So we're making a determination now. Do we go to Chicago, or do we go to a place like New Orleans, where we have a great governor, Jeff Landry, who wants us to come in and straighten out a very nice section of this country.
And yeah, and here's the thing. They need it. They need it over there in New Orleans as well. It's not as bad as Chicago, but here's the thing, though. Guess who runs, or guess who's the mayor of New Orleans? Go ahead, look it up, because it's most likely a Democrat. Actually, it is a Democrat. I'll go ahead and tell you right now, it's a Democrat, and it's been a Democrat for years in a red state. So when you guys want to talk about, oh, red states have high crime, like I said, microscope that, hone in on the cities with high crime, and you will see that it's ran by a Democratic mayor. So who are the causes of high crime when it comes to parties? Kind of sounds like it's you guys, the Dems. Kind of sounds like you're the betrayers of, or the proliferators of high crime.
That's become quite tough, quite bad.
The mayor of D.C. didn't want the Guard at first, too. Now Blue City Bowser is red-pilled. She wants the Guard to stay till Christmas. And she says she'll coordinate with law enforcement. DC's going out to dinner, carjackings are down, not a single homicide in almost 2 weeks. That's how Democrats should do it. Unite with Trump. Take the credit and save lives. All it takes is a little humility. Surely if I can admit I'm wrong, Democrat politicians can too. The strategy is working so well, Trump may take Melania out for date night.
When you visit a restaurant in D.C., you haven't gone to...
I might, sure.
You haven't gone to one in either of your terms that wasn't...
How do you know? How do you know?
Because I and many other...
Do you want me to prove you wrong? Do you want me to prove you wrong?
Yes, please.
But I will... I think it's something we could consider doing. Love to do it. I love the White House food, but after a while...
Oh, he's trying to be petty and say, well, like, Trump, you're not even outside like that. You inside the White House. What do you know about D.C. when you inside all the time? How'd you even eat at one of the nice restaurants in D.C., Mr. Trump? It's petty, but okay.
Going to a nice restaurant. It's safe.
Trump wants to make peace so he can go into heaven. Doesn't matter where it is, Chicago, Ukraine, D.C.
Really
just want people to live. Remember, Democrats thought he was dead. But if Putin and Xi are right,
hilarious,
Trump might live forever. Click here to subscribe to the.
Oh man, you already know the Dems just forever. Like, no, said it can't be possible. I mean, I don't know, man, bro. The way the way president of or the dictator of China was talking, the way he was talking, he's like, hey, look, man, organ replacement all day, and you could live to like 150. 70's young, really. Trump's a young man. I mean, just give him a couple organ replacements, and he'll be all good. Like, he's a young man, guys. He still got some time in him. Yeah, I still got some years with Trump, according to my man Xi. We just got some organ replacements. Oh, boy, y'all lose your mind. But all right, guys, let's get right into it. Back on the other side with CNN.
In our health lead, before deranged social media conspiracies about President Trump's health, some even speculated over the weekend that he had died. Newsflash, he's fine. White House reporters and other observers were paying attention to some very real developments when it comes to the health of our 79-year-old president. And joining us now, CNN chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta. So Sanjay, sticking to the facts here, we have seen pictures of Trump's hands. He has had bruises on his hands. And we've also seen pictures of swollen ankles. These are all, legitimate photographs and actual things. What is going on here?
Yeah, if I can, just for a second, Jake, a little preamble. When we've approached things like this, and I've been doing this a long time, obviously we see the same things that the public is seeing here. A couple things. We hear from his doctors because we want to rely, as you're pointing out, on data, evidence, and facts when it comes to the president's health. We do talk to a team of other doctors as well, emergency room doctors, cardiologists, gerontologists, vascular surgeons, to also weigh in on what's going on with the president. But so when you specifically talk about his ankles and his hands, for example, something people have noticed, what his doctors have said is that this is due to something known as chronic venous insufficiency. Basically, the blood is not leaving the extremities as well as it should, and he gets swelling. It's not uncommon. Over the age of 50, about 5% of adults have it. As you get older, he's going to be 80 next year. Even more people have it, close to 25% of people, according to some studies.
Okay.
So my point being is that it tracks. We see this, what you're seeing on the screen there. They call it chronic venous insufficiency.
All right, ain't nothing unusual, and it doesn't lead to anything that might, mess with his cognitive ability. So, it sounds like he's in the clear.
See, that tracks. That makes sense.
That happens.
With his hands, that bruising. People who are older can get a condition known as actinic purpura.
Probably got to hurt Trump's pride a little bit because, these are signs of him getting old. So it is what it is.
Basically thin skin on the back of the hands.
About damn time the boys start aging again.
That can worsen it. It makes those blood vessels underneath the skin very, very delicate and prone to bleeding. And when you bleed like that, because the skin is so elastic, it causes pretty significant bruising, which can look alarming. But a small amount of.
Hey, and shout out to my man Hellbat. He says they sound like they're developing a fetish now. Like, bro, low key, but guys, and let's see, and guys, the reason I'm playing this video so we can, understand what's going on with Trump's health, because apparently I couldn't really find too much coverage on it when it came to Fox News, but I believe that they don't really see it as a problem, and Trump's already covered it before and came out about it and explained what the condition was. For some reason, I don't know. I'm not sure who's really making this reach, but people on the internet trying to make the reach as if this is affecting his cognitive ability or it's progressively aging him, and it looked like he's about to die any minute. Like, reaching like that.
Blood in that space can do it. So again, that tracks. And that is based on what we're hearing from his doctors. And then sort of like just putting it through the sniff test with other docs as well, ER doctors, cardiologists, gerontologists, vascular surgeons. So that's, when we look at these sorts of things, that's how we approach it. What we've been told by his doctors seem to make sense. They say that the bruising on the back of the hand as a result of aspirin use, lots of trauma to the hand from handshaking, they say, but also just older skin can look like that over time, Jake.
What more do we know about his health? He was the oldest president to ever be sworn in.
I say he bruised his hand doing too much handshaking.
Well, so, we have basic facts. We haven't gotten the same amount of information about President Trump as we have from some presidents in the past, but we obviously know his age, we know his weight, we know his blood pressure. We know that he talked a lot about the.
All right, 79, 224 pounds. He's about 6'2", 6'3". I mean, he could lose about 20 pounds. Let's see. Blood pressure, score 30. All right. Cognitive assessment. He got a good score in his cognitive assessment. So, hey, all right. So his brain's all the way there. Skin has minor sun damage. I'm done. I mean, well, he plays golf. So, hey, he plays golf and he's white. So, white people's skin going to do what it do. No offense.
Cognitive testing, this screening test for cognitive decline, the Montreal Cognitive Assessment Exam, say that he got a perfect score on that. And then, as I was talking about his skin having sun damage, we know he takes certain meds. We know in the past he's had testing that showed evidence of heart disease, but he is taking statins and cholesterol-lowering medications, and again, that aspirin that I mentioned earlier. But that's kind of all we really know, Jake. There hasn't been a lot that has been forthcoming. I will say, again, having covered him, going back to 2016, you've sometimes heard some really hyperbolic things as well about him. He could live to be 200 years old, for example. So it's challenging because we want to rely not on speculation, but on substance.
That's
so
true.
I think obviously he's not going to live to 200, but trying to find that line in terms of reporting, I think is really important.
Yeah. And also there's no law mandating that the
Yes.
president has to disclose anything. And while President Trump may have disclosed more this year than he has in the past, especially when he was running last year, there's still a lot of questions, and there is not a full disclosure of everything going on with him or with any previous president.
No, I got to tell you, again, I've been doing this for 25 years. John McCain, you may remember, Jake, back in 2008, was the only candidate at that point to release all of his medical records. And he basically gave us a room in Arizona, said, here are all my medical records. You can have access to them for a certain number of hours. It's like pages and pages. And, I went through all that. But most candidates or presidents, if they become president, have not released their entire medical records. So this is not unusual. Usually we just get these summaries, Jake.
Yeah, Congress should pass something for future presidents requiring it. That's my opinion, having written that Biden book about lack of disclosure. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Got it.
I'm sorry, but this man Taper, yeah, Jake Taper, you talking about disclosure is funny. The fact that you refuse to disclose the fact that Biden had a cognitive decline and you would spend all the time gaslighting everybody that he's all good, as sharp as a thumbtack. Then when it becomes obvious and everybody knows and you want to come out with a tell-all book, oh, trust me. You were the last person I want to hear talking about that. But all right, let's go on and get on to our favorite socialist. What was it? Zoran Mamdani.
Today, multiple outlets are reporting that Donald Trump is attempting to tip the scales of New York City's mayoral election by offering some of the candidates jobs in the administration in order to help Andrew Cuomo defeat Zoran Mamdani. Ever since the 33-year-old Mamdani won the Democratic primary in June, the Fox News viewer, who is our president, has been taking a special interest in the New York City race.
If a communist gets elected to run New York, it can never be the same, but we have tremendous power at the White House to run places when we have to. You have a lot of crooked things going on in New York. We're going to straighten out New York. Maybe we're going to have to straighten it out from Washington.
Now, the New York Times is reporting that advisors of Trump are trying to induce the current incumbent mayor, Eric Adams, to leave the race by dangling an administration job for him. Quote, the talks have also involved finding a possible place in the administration for the Republican candidate, Curtis Sliwa. Citing 3 people with knowledge of the discussions, the Times reports the goal would be to give former Governor Andrew Cuomo a better chance of defeating Mamdani in November's general election. Political reports Adams has...
Nah, he might still lose. I know they're running the numbers, but they're trying to solve. If Adam gives up and this Republican gives up, then Cuomo has a chance of beating this man, Mamdani. Because right now, Mamdani's polling numbers are higher than Cuomo's. But he's saying, well, if we combine all those two together and and we get rid of those 2 options, and those 2 options parties or voters go into Cuomo, we could possibly beat Mamdani. And I don't think it might be enough. They're betting on an if. I mean, let's be real. Some of the people who are going to vote for Eric Adams, I mean, they might end up voting for Mamdani. It might not go the way y'all expect. So, I mean, let's be real though. But the guys who are going to vote for the Republican, now that might actually go in Cuomo's direction.
Has been offered a position at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, according to a person with direct knowledge of the offer. and that the mayor met with the president's team during his visit this Monday, to Florida. Spokesperson for the Eric Adams campaign said Mayor Adams has not met with Donald Trump. He is not dropping out of the race. But it would not be the first time Trump has used Adams to influence New York City politics, of course. You'll remember, shortly after taking office, Trump's Department of Justice dropped corruption charges against the mayor in exchange for Trump-favored immigration policies and cooperation from the mayor for them. That move prompted the resignation of over half a dozen prosecutors in both Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office and Main Justice, including the acting U.S. Attorney for the Southern District. Joining me now to respond to all this news on a very busy day is the Democratic candidate for New York City Mayor, Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani. It's good to have you here. Nice to meet you in person for the first time.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
So what do you think about all this?
I think it's outrageous. And I think oftentimes in a race such as this, it's tempting to think of this solely in the question of how does this impact the race? But this is an affront to our city's democracy. This is an affront to the values that make so many of us proud to be Americans, that we could choose our own leaders, not that our leaders pick themselves or their friends. And we're seeing in this time when Donald Trump has taken snap from hungry New Yorkers, has passed legislation that would throw millions of New Yorkers off their health insurance, that we have Democrats in Andrew Cuomo and Eric Adams working with this administration to try and subvert the will of Democratic primary voters right here in New York City.
Is there a Democratic argument that there's some problem with this split field of four candidates that ends up with a person being the mayor of the city with 40% of the vote? Like, is there, because we have, we had the ranked choice voting in the primary, which I think is an important thing. You've now got this very weird situation where the next mayor might win 35, 40% of the vote. And there's a question about what that would mean for that mayor's representative ability in the city.
I don't think any of those questions are motivating Donald Trump. That's fair. Thinking about the actions that they take. And I think that if this was just a question of, am I going to face three candidates or one candidate, I wouldn't have concerns. I'm just as confident of beating Andrew Cuomo today as I was yesterday. My concern, however, is what these so-called leaders are willing to give up in the name of securing power. That is why so many New Yorkers are turned off by our politics, because they see no relevance of their struggles in the conversations that are taking place.
Yeah, they're pretty much just, honestly, what they're using against Mamdani is the same strategy they use against Trump. It's like, oh, he's a socialist. He has all these radical ideas and all this good stuff. He's a crazy. He's trying to take you back to a communist economy, which I doubt. But that's what they're pretty much saying about this, man. This is what the Dems are saying about him. Not us, not just us, but the Dems are saying this as well. They're pretty much trying to trump this man, pretty much trying to create all this salacious rhetoric about him. And how does it work out? Oh, this man ends up mayor of New York. I mean, I could see it. I could see it so clearly now. Hopefully it doesn't happen, but that's looking like this kind of looking like where they're going. Like, this will be the new mayor of New York City, and y'all just gonna have to deal with that.
There's reporting over the summer that there's a phone call between Donald Trump and Andrew Cuomo, previously undisclosed, reported by the Times August 6th, that Trump spoke about the race directly with Cuomo, an old associate and foil, according to three people briefed on the call who were not authorized to do.
Oh, and one of the main points, too, is that Mamdani actually has policies. And here's the thing. That's how you know that the Dems have no policy. Y'all voters, y'all constituents are so desperate for policies, they're willing to take anything that comes out y'all mouth. Like, that's literally what this man Mamdani did. I mean, it almost sounded like this man was spitballing out of a socialist handbook. And now, let's be real, y'all constituents were so desperate to hear some type of solution instead of the same old, or instead of the old, oh, don't worry, we'll do this and that, but then do the opposite. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry, but y'all have lost faith with even your own constituents, your own citizens. Hey, y'all can't blame that on us.
Scott said, Andrew Cuomo denies that they talked about the race. I mean, is your read on this situation that Trump is pulling for Cuomo?
Absolutely. And I think Trump is making that very clear, that this is his choice for mayor of New York City. It's Andrew Cuomo. And he's willing to use every single tool and tactic at his disposal to try and assist Andrew Cuomo in that same pursuit. And what we're seeing right now is to offer and consider positions for two candidates in this race to try and make this one-on-one. It shows just how threatened he is by what our administration would be, which is a fulfillment of the thing that he ran on but has since betrayed, which is a promise of a more affordable life for Americans.
for people that are watching this that consider themselves, Democrats are sort of in the big tent, right? And say they're in the big anti-Trump coalition, okay? And they've known Andrew Cuomo as a known quantity for a long time. And there's a feeling right now as they watch sort of Governor Pritzker in Illinois and Governor Newsom and, mayors in Chicago and DC and Baltimore deal with this sort of Godzilla-like figure, right? Who's sort of wreaking havoc all over the places. That we need someone who's strong, who's experienced, who can go toe to toe, who maybe is kind of a tough guy. And this Zohran Mamdani seems like a nice guy. He seems charming.
And here's the thing though, y'all don't even have the answers to y'all problem. Y'all looking for a Trump. That's basically what y'all looking for. Y'all looking for y'all own Trump, and y'all just don't want to say it out loud. That's the crying shame. Y'all literally looking to try to find somebody who can mimic Trump, but who has democratic ideals. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. When y'all have a party of a bunch of, hive-minded individuals, good luck.
He's 33 years old. Like, do I think that's the guy that can go toe to toe with the threat that is Donald Trump, as opposed to Andrew Cuomo, who's really been around the block?
Let's take the example of California. When Donald Trump deployed the National Guard to California.
But here's the thing, though. Like I said, even what my man's admitting to right now, it's not about no new policies. It's not about tweaking Trump's policies to make it better. It's not about, here's an alternative to what we would do that would make it better. No, it's about, who can we have that's actually going to try to sit there and spite Trump 365 days out the year? It's like, who's going to do it? Who got that much time in their hand just to spite Trump all day? That's what you guys consider a fighter, a real candidate. Yeah, y'all gonna lose again.
One of the key ways in which they responded was working together with the mayor of LA, the governor of California, the attorney general, all coming together to file a lawsuit that a judge just yesterday found that deployment was illegal. Can you imagine Andrew Cuomo working with the attorney general of this state, whose endorsement I'm proud to have, Tish James, the governor, Kathy Hochul, to work together to fight Donald Trump when he's spoken to Donald Trump more than he's spoken to Kathy Hochul over the course of this race? This is a man who believes in nothing other than his own power. And he spent so much of the primary saying he was best positioned to fight Donald Trump. He's now spending the general saying he's best positioned to work with Donald Trump. And New Yorkers want a mayor who is accountable to them, not to someone in the White House who is looking to rip up the very fabric of the city.
Or Israel.
Being New York mayor, to me, strikes me as probably the hardest job in America, in American politics after president. I mean, I really feel like, it's basically your job for everyone to hate you. Essentially, you know that, right? No one's gonna be like, hey, buddy, everyone's kind of pissed off all the time because it's New York City. It's New York City, right? Life is tough. Things are crowded. Things are expensive. There's a lot of reasons for that. But then on top
overly
of it, right, so it's a hard enough job in normal times. But I mean, as we're watching him threatening to send in the National Guard to Illinois,
as he should,
no respect for the law as it stands. You can't bound yourself within some confines of he won't do that because it's illegal. How are you thinking about preparing for the job itself in terms of having this threat looming over it?
You have to prepare for the inevitability of Donald Trump to continue being Donald Trump.
Or you could just fix the crime in your city and put the best effort towards it so Donald Trump don't even got to use you as an example. I mean, that could also be done as well. Instead of sitting there trying to fight Trump, you could be trying to fix the problems. That's even a better way of fighting Trump if you think about it.
We cannot, as you've said, rely on any notion of the law or what is appropriate for how he will determine his course of actions. And I look at California as an example, such that we are ready here in New York City on January 1st with a plan of partnership across city and state government to be ready, whether it's for the deployment of the National Guard or it's for his attempt to pass legislation like the one he just did, which will take an axe to so much of what keeps so many New Yorkers afloat. And I think we've seen what New York City can gain if we have a mayor who is willing to collaborate with Donald Trump, which is not that much at all. We've had money directly taken out of bank accounts. We've had a 6-year-old public school student from Jackson Heights being deported. This is what we have when you want to work with Donald Trump. We've seen what it looks like to manage Donald Trump, which is what we see in Andrew Cuomo. We need someone who's actually willing to fight Donald Trump. And we've seen examples of that right here in New York with Kathy Hochul. We've seen examples of that in California. It's time to have that in City Hall.
You have not yet received an endorsement from Hakeem Jeffries, who, of course, the highest ranking member of Congress and a member of the New York delegation. I know you've met 4 times. Kathy Hochul has not officially endorsed yet, if I'm not mistaken. You would have to work with both those individuals quite closely. Are you confident that should you win, those are going to be solid relationships?
Absolutely. And so many of the conversations we've had have been about the importance of partnership, because New Yorkers have grown tired at the ways in which Albany and City Hall were at war when Andrew Cuomo was leading the state. They want leaders who understand that they have the same constituents in New York City and they have to serve those constituents. And one thing I've appreciated through all of these conversations is the question of how do we deliver affordability to the residents of the most expensive city in the United States of America?
One of the people who was in that sort of battle, standoff with Andrew Cuomo when he was governor, as mayor, was Bill de Blasio. We covered that. I watched it as a New Yorker. Today, Bill de Blasio endorsed you for mayor. So that's someone who's had some experience on both sides of that. Assemblyman Zoran Mondani, the Democratic candidate for mayor in New York. Great to have you. Thanks a lot.
Sir. Thank you.
Oh man, not even Zoran Mondani got the answer for you guys. Like, when is a Dem fine just gonna say, look, we need policies? No, we don't need somebody who's gonna fight against Trump. We need somebody who's gonna have better policies than Trump and not just sit there and complain about his policies while having none of their own. That is what you guys need. There you go. There's the secret sauce. You guys can finally start winning some elections again. If you don't want to take it, well, I'm sorry. You're just gonna perpetually lose and you're an idiot. But hey, it is what it is. But all right, though, let's go ahead and cover this. Go ahead and cover this last CNN video. Then we're gonna go ahead and get into this debate reaction. All right, guys, let's get right into it. Let's remember to double tap that screen and like the video. You have any questions, comments, jokes, or disagreements? I'll be happy to read it out loud, engage with it. Just $2 and up. Appreciate the support, guys.
17 years old, I went and worked for Jeffrey.
I was 16 years old.
I was only 14 years old.
I was a 16-year-old.
I was only 14 years old when I was introduced to Jeffrey Epstein by a 13-year-old friend of mine.
Victims of Jeffrey Epstein on Capitol Hill this morning, bravely recounting their abuse at the hands of the disgraced financier and his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, and urging lawmakers to fully release the Epstein files. Just minutes after that, President Trump, sitting in the Oval Office, called the push to release all the documents relating to the Epstein files, a, quote, Democrat hoax that never ends. Joining us now is Gloria Allred. She's a longtime victims' rights attorney. She's represented 27 survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and some alleged victims of Ghislaine Maxwell. Gloria, thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
You have seen, unfortunately, so many women in this kind of a position with powerful men. This has been going on for years. You have been involved with it for years. And yet it seems like there is something about it that is changing right now, what those women did today.
I agree with you, Casey. And I spoke at the rally at the end, the pre-rally to the other rally. And there were many victims, survivors there. And so I think the change that you're keynoting here, that you're focusing on is, you know, the first stage is being a victim, then becoming a survivor. And then I say the last stage, the highest stage, is a fighter for change. So I see a lot of the victims evolving to that third stage, fighting for change. In other words, they've told their story. I think the public has clearly said in all the polls, Democratic, Republican, and the independent polls, they want the files to be released. And the victims are willing to fight for it. They have been delayed justice.
And the victims said, yeah, we'll write our own list, we'll compile it, and we'll have the senators read it on the Senate floor so nobody can get charged. I mean, hey, they have quite the stance going on there. But it doesn't look like this lady's going to say anything new. So let's get over here to this Piers Morgan debate. Shout out Piers Morgan coming back from, well, whatever vacation he was on. All right, guys, let's get right into it.
I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said there must be something wrong with him. I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? No, I was very active this Labor Day.
Rumors have swirled online for weeks that President Trump is gravely ill. The president's been unusually, I think, more absent from the airwaves and the golf course recently. He's also sported a bruised hand in recent appearances, sparking frenzied speculation, which the White House says is the result of a benign condition. It's perfectly fair to inquire about the commander-in-chief's health, which is why some of us did it with a visibly ailing Biden, who was, of course, sharp as a tack, according to his team. Well, today, Trump did what he normally does. He changed the subject. The president called an impromptu Oval Office press conference to discuss relocating the US Space Command. Well, joining me now is Vincent Ashana, PBD podcast host and self-styled Angry Patriot, Sean Spicer, the former White House press secretary, host of the Sean Spicer Show, Harry Sisson, the Democrat influencer, and the legendary Democrat strategist James Carville. Well, while we await the president, let's ask the panel what they've made of all this speculation. We'll start with you, Sean Spicer. Welcome back to Uncensored. A lot of feverish gossiping going on about the health or otherwise of President Trump. What do you make of it? There's no doubt he's been unusually quiet the last few days and unusually, by his standards, not very visible. That has merely fueled speculation. What do you make of it all?
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. Look, there's a couple things that are facts in this situation. Number one, it was a holiday weekend in America, so a lot of people had downtime this weekend.
I mean, well, let's be real. When it comes to the Dems, I mean, the Dems just don't want Trump to be happy. He can't take no breaks. He can't get no R&R. And if he does, he's taking breaks on the taxpayer dime. He's so corrupt. How could he take a break on Labor Day weekend? Yes, I mean, like everybody else in America.
He played golf, I think, every single day. The White House pool accompanies him to those situations. There was pictures of him playing. There was a picture of his granddaughter Kai with him. So we physically saw him. He did an extended interview, an hour plus, with the Daily Caller, Reagan Reese. It's out. You can see that. They posted it. They put pictures out of it. He was very active on Truth Social. So, I mean, look, after 4 years of being gaslit about issues with respect to President Biden, you don't see the guy during a holiday weekend here in the U.S., despite him being active on social media and on the golf course. And the media goes and creates speculation about his health. It was wrong. It's ridiculous. And I frankly find it shameful that outlets like CNN decided to actually consider it news. It just shows you that, these are the same people who covered up Joe Biden's mental and physical acuity and now run rampant with speculation with no basis of it. A fact.
Okay, James Carville, your response to that?
Well, let me give you a fact maybe you don't know. On January the 17th in the year 2017, Donald Trump sent Keith Schiller and two goons into his internist office and confiscated his medical records. The internist, a gentleman by the name of Dr. Bornstein, said he felt like he had been raped. Where are those medical records? Produce them. Why did you have them stolen? Why did you do that?
Crazy.
Answer the question.
I mean, damn, somebody snatched some papers from you and you feel raped is crazy.
Joe Biden, he did this. It's something with Joe Biden. Joe Biden, noun and verb of Joe Biden. That's all you can do.
Oh.
Where are the medical records?
I mean, there's no doubt.
The medical records kind of don't matter considering that we have his current medical records of today. So whatever those medical records you want to go kick in the door for, they kind of don't matter because we have his medical records of today.
It was 2017. Then he's done pretty well to look as fit and energetic as he has been for the next 8 years, James, hasn't he?
There's an underlying condition that's being treated. Why would you seize your own medical records?
But in his last presidential annual physical report in April, if you compare the medication list to his old reports, there were 3 new medications noted. Rosuvastatin, which is used for stroke prevention, ezetimibe, which treats high blood cholesterol, and a daily aspirin. There's nothing there that suggests a massive underlying problem.
You may believe that. Why have you ever asked to see the medical records that were confiscated? In your whole time in journalism, you were there. Did you ever say, sir, could we see the records that you ordered confiscated from your own internist? No, you haven't.
So you think?
Well, I believe anything that the White House tells me. Oh God, he's taking some high blood pressure medication.
Wait, hey, James. With all due respect, it's not the White House. Those are military officers, and you have served. So you're well aware that you're questioning the integrity of a naval officer and whether or not they'd lie on it. So please don't go there.
Wait, I'm sorry. Didn't you guys do that with Biden's medical reports?
Go there again, Mr. Spicer, in case you can't hear. Where are the medical records that were confiscated, and what underlying condition did they reveal? And you can put.
I would tell him that, well, obviously it's nothing because he releases his health. He released his health. What was it? He released his health file or his health results, or his physical test results already. So whatever he ran in there and grabbed, obviously must not have been that serious, considering that we're not seeing it today. I'm not really sure where you're trying to go at. You're asking for medical records that we already have and the most current medical records.
Something in a medical report and leave something out. And by the way, I do know this: a naval officer is in the chain of command. I hate to inform you that, but they are subject to
I'm well aware, James, how the chain of command works.
Okay, well, Sean Spicer. I mean, Sean, when you were Trump's press chief in the first term, did you have anything that come across your desk that suggested there were concerns about his health, or anything perhaps being kept quiet?
Not at all. And I was in regular contact with Dr. Jackson at the time. But I'll tell you, I mean, this is the first time, and I've heard everything that you can possibly hear about Donald Trump. I've never heard this anecdote before about
Nor have I, no.
January. So, I mean, look, it's interesting. So, I mean, look, but the bottom line is for the last several years, he's been seen by military government doctors who have given him a clean bill of health and put out his health records. So if there's an underlying condition, I'm not sure how you cover up for 8 years.
All right, Harry Sissons, the reality of this is that for a very long time, the Democrat supporters, the Biden White House, the liberal skewed mainstream media all presided over a mass cover-up of Joe Biden's actual health, which then came to light afterwards. Is this just a case of, well, you stuck it to us about our guy, we're going to stick it to you about your guy, even if there's very little substance for it?
No, I don't necessarily think it's that. I think it's a combination of things. I think that, folks like myself who supported President Biden just remember how people like Sean Spicer on this panel treated.
I ain't gonna lie, Harry, I can't trust anything this man say, because he was getting paid to support Biden. I'm not even sure if he's a real Biden supporter. I mean, anybody that came out after Biden's performance and said that, oh, this man literally said, no, he had a bad night, you guys are being ageist. Like, no, go back to the interview that or the panel that Pierce held after President Trump and ex-President Biden debated. Oh my goodness. This man literally came out there and said that, oh no, everybody has a bad night. Like what you mean? He was just off his game. That doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean that we need to replace him. I was like, yo, the line that you have to do, the type of mental gymnastics, I don't know how he was able to force that out into the ether, but I was amazed. I was like, bro, that's the next level cap right there. Like, I don't know how you do it.
President Biden during his 4 years.
And he said it with a straight face too. That was the craziest part.
About his health. We don't forget that. We are remembering that. And it's just interesting to see someone like Sean hold a completely different standard. If Biden disappeared for a week, regardless of a holiday weekend, if he had bruises on his hands, swollen ankles, he's walking weird.
He has. I mean, the man was on the beach for a week at least.
He has this weird clips where he can't even identify the president of Finland who's sitting in front of him. I imagine that Sean would be on your show calling for Biden to do a press conference right now for medical records to be released. But since it's Donald Trump, well, Sean says, well, it's a holiday weekend. He's off. The guy who says he works 24/7, he's taking, he's taking a holiday weekend off, and he's just, he's playing golf. So I just find the double standard to be remarkable, but the facts remain. There are significant concerns surrounding Donald Trump's health. And I'm also really happy to hear people on this panel like you, Piers, and Sean saying that the medical records produced by doctors from Walter Reed are reliable, because Joe Biden had a physical all 4 years of his presidency from doctors at Walter Reed, neurologists included, who'd conducted these examinations. And in every single report, he had a clean bill of health. There was no concerning medication.
How was it then?
No,
how
nothing
was it? Okay, but how?
It's so funny though. It's funny how you didn't read Jake Tapper's book, because even Jake Tapper was pretty much saying that, the doctors were complicit in the cover-up. They literally hid some of Biden's underlying conditions that would pretty much, if they was being truthful, they'd have got his ass up out of office a lot quicker. They'd have foreseen what was coming, but they didn't. And why didn't they do it? I couldn't even tell you. Couldn't even tell you that one.
How was it then, if they were being completely honest, that the moment he was out of office, he revealed he had advanced cancer?
Well, Piers, I mean, the type of cancer that President Biden has is notoriously in the United States and around the world one of the most fatal for men. The reason being not because it can't be treated, but because it's incredibly hard to detect. That's why it's often caught at stage 3 and
but it's
stage
not
4,
hard
as
to
it was for
detect until the
President
president of
Biden.
the United States having regular full medical.
Piers,
Well, it's
Piers,
not. It's not.
Cancer affects every person the same way and in different ways.
So you're saying
President
Joe
Biden is not a super,
Joe Biden,
just wait.
the moment he was out of office, announces he has quite advanced aggressive cancer. But your argument is that right to that point, nobody in his medical team would have had any ability to reveal it.
Yes, Pierce, because prostate cancer is incredibly hard to detect. You can fact check me if you want. You can look this up. That's why it's one of the top 5 killers of men in the United States in regards to cancer. And just think
I mean, here's the thing though, as the president who has access to top medical care, you would think that, I'm gonna be honest with you, if we're talking about your average man, sure. But we're talking about the president of the United States. That's a bit different.
About what you're arguing for here when you're saying something like this is the claim that Joe Biden had cancer when he was in the Oval Office and they just hid it. They didn't provide him treatment. They let
stage 4 cancer. Yes, he had it. If he had stage 4, most likely, almost like 9 times out of 10,
him die just so he can stay in. Really? I mean, you really think that okay. I mean, now
they hid his obvious onset of dementia.
Guys,
so why not?
We're going QAnon level conspiracy here.
Really?
When you think that Joe Biden had cancer, he knew he had cancer, his family had cancer, his family, who, by the way, have suffered a tremendous amount of loss through their life, right? This family who has suffered greatly, you think that they're going to let their Joe Biden just suffer with cancer and not try to get treatment, not try to do chemotherapy
I think that
or anything?
I think that, well, you're talking about the same family who allowed him to continue.
Piers,
well, hang on.
Well, I would say like this. Yeah, they would still need him in there. Hunter still needs to be pardoned, or he would be in jail. Let's see here. January 6th, people need to be pardoned, or else the whole damn president administration is going to jail. So yeah, they needed Biden, up and running, and they were willing to commit elder abuse to maintain power. Who's to say that it was about Biden's family? Who's to say it wasn't about the cabinet? Who's to say it wasn't the administration that was like, no, we're gonna keep him in there because we want to keep power. Don't worry, we'll auto pen this bitch. And boom, there you go, auto pen president.
We're talking about the same family who allowed Joe Biden in that last year of his presidency to end up on a debate stage when they all knew he would humiliate himself. U.S. national debt is more than 30.
Here's the thing, though. Like, there were people who walked up to Biden before the debate, and they said, "Oh yeah, it's over. It's over." They said Biden was just wrecked, and I'm just like, damn. So y'all knew he was gonna go out there and perform horribly. Crazy, like, bro. If I was listening to that debate, if I was the moderator in that debate, I'd have literally had to stop the debate. I'm like, all right, look, no, you're not like Trump. You're not gonna sit here and debate a senile old man, okay? I just can't let you do this. Take this old guy off the stage. Find a new candidate. Yeah, we're done.
Pretty well capable.
Because it was downright embarrassing how they did Biden. I'm just like, wow, like y'all would rather just put this old man through the ringer instead of just finding another candidate? Like, yeah, is y'all that desperate? You think he's the only person that could beat Trump, that you're willing to put him through elder abuse to do so? Is crazy.
From a political perspective of doing anything, even if it made him look terrible. Let me bring in Vinny. Vinny, look, there is a bit of schadenfreude here. The Democrats are clearly going to make hay while the sun shines about Trump's health, because, of course, everyone did that with Biden for years. So I've got no problem with Trump's health being scrutinized. I think it's perfectly reasonable. But all this stuff about, Trump's dead and all these things trending and so on, when he's literally out there playing golf. I played golf yesterday, and you cannot play golf if you're dead. You can't play golf if you're seriously ill, actually, because it's a more arduous sport than people think. You have to walk 4 or 5 miles, or you get in a cart and you have to walk around and play shots and so on. You can't really do that if you're seriously ill.
Oh, 100%. Piers, I just want to say before I start, thank you for having me on. As always, it's always a pleasure. I saw you on vacation. I see your tan. You look sexy. Like, Piers, you look like the international man of mystery.
I
heard they're casting for 007. They should consider getting you. But that aside, it just makes me laugh. Sitting here listening to people like like Harry, and all due respect, James, and like Harry.
Brian, he says sexy, though. That took me out the game for a little bit.
We know who you are, bro. We know exactly who you are. You're a shill for the left. You were
Yeah.
glazing for Biden for all those years. All of a sudden, they wouldn't lie. They wouldn't lie.
Paid $200K from the DNC. Then we're getting paid $8,000 to $10,000 a month just to lie for the Democratic Party, or just completely fearmonger about Trump. I mean, it was probably like the easiest job ever. He made it look so easy.
Lie. His son isn't a crackhead. The cocaine in the White House is this. You were the biggest cheerleader for how his mental acuity.
Oh no, you know where he's going with it. He's reaching towards the truth that how you were a paid shill for the Biden administration, how you literally were getting paid by the DNC. So, dog, no, he's touching on something real. Actually, you've been exposed for getting payments from the DNC, like of the tune of 200,000 for the year of what was it? I think it was 2023 or 2024. One of those years, you got paid a hefty check, my friend. And I ain't mad at you. But the fact that you sat there and like protected every lie of the Biden administration, all I could say is that, well, money well spent on their part, but it completely destroyed your reputation, young man.
Hold on, I'm going to show you.
You're like going all over the place.
You were the biggest cheerleader for Joe Biden, as if he was Harry. You didn't know that Biden wasn't in his right mind for the 4 years. You're full of shit. You know it. We know it. You're a shill for the left. You get paid to do what you do. You're a paid propagandist. Number one.
See,
number two, Piers.
I think it's just funny that Piers asked you an entirely different question and you just started going after me.
Harry, you had your chance. Harry, do me a favor.
Talk about bad health. This guy looks like a tomato right now, dude. He looks like 90 years old. He looks like as red as a tomato.
Let me say my point.
This guy's on fire right now.
My point is this, Piers, the left would want nothing more than Trump to be gone. They would celebrate. If he died and had a heart attack, they'd be in the streets parading because Hitler's dead. Let's not play pretend, okay, Piers? And guess what? These guys, just like Harry, ran cover for Biden. You want to talk about the family didn't know? He was falling up and down stairs, shaking hands with people that weren't there. Secret Service said he pooped in his pants in front of the freaking Pope. So don't give me that crap. Okay, let's just be honest, Piers. Let's be honest. Donald Trump, it's not a secret. He drinks Diet Coke. He eats Big Macs. He's not in great shape. But you know what is in great shape? The United States of America, Piers. We are back.
Wow, what a
we
spin.
are kicking
Holy
ass.
shit,
Go
what
ahead,
a
name
spin.
it. The
Holy
border.
fuck.
Hey, Harry.
Look,
Harry,
Piers just
Harry,
laughed because
Harry,
Piers
do
just
me a
laughed
favor.
because he recognizes
Harry,
this
do me a
crazy
favor.
spin right now.
Harry,
oh
you
my
are.
God. Even
Harry,
Sean
you
is
are
laughing.
a walking
Sean is like, what is
meme.
going on?
I mean, no, we're laughing at the spin of the joke. It was just like in the kind of the irony of the spin. He's like, well, Donald Trump may not be in shape, but you know who is in shape? America. Now, if you're talking about economic wise and border wise and all that good stuff, then for sure. But if you're talking about weight wise, I mean, bro, we're kind of fucked up like Trump in that aspect. I mean, Trump damn near personifies America's weight problem, if anything. It's personified so heavily you can see it in our president.
Harry, you're a walking meme.
On,
you're a walking meme. So everybody that's at home, go on any social media, put Harry Sisson. Yeah. You're a joke. You're a walking hypocrite.
Okay, well, look.
You're fake as hell.
Let me just hang on, Harry. I want to ask James. I mean,
I don't know, Vinny. I don't know where he was going with that one. I think he got sidetracked and lost his train of thought. Because I'd have just eviscerated Harry. I'd have eviscerated this man. I'd have been like, dog, you literally watched the president break down on TV and then came in here and tried to run game and said, oh, he just had a bad day. I don't want to hear nothing from you, my friend. It's been exposed that not only do you mess with not little girls, but do you mess with women in a creepy way, like some type of incel, like you want to call MAGA incel, bro. The way you talk to these girls is very incel-like, my friend, and very horny. You might want to, handle that, you little horny bastard. So, hey, I would have eviscerated that man all day from his little his sexting scandal with that little influencer girl, and for the fact that you got paid $200K to lie for the Biden administration. I mean, after that, I think I'd have been done. I'd have put my hat to rest right there and then. I mean, like, hey, look, as long as I can voice how you should not be trusted, I'm okay. If people still want to trust you, it is what it is.
There's no look. The fact we're talking now, we're half an hour past the time, 30 minutes past the time that this press conference was supposed to start, which in itself is a bit weird. But this may all be absolutely nothing James Carville, but why it's serious, I think, is that as this is all unfurling, all this gossiping about Trump's health and so on, you've got Putin with Xi and Modi all getting together. There's a new kind of world order that's happening right in front of our eyes. So actually, the health of the President of the United States is pretty vital right now. What do you make of what is happening with those three?
Look, when they agree to be like the adversary of NATO, they just create their own little military alliance, and then they try to bring Mexico in on our border, and now we got to go invade Mexico. When they do something like that, then I'll worry about them, to be quite honest.
What's happening is at the turn of this century.
But now that I said it out loud, though, it does sound plausible. Like, if these guys do get together to be a military alliance, I mean, it would be formidable enough to make NATO just back off a little bit. Or you would hope.
It was believed incorrectly that the United States was the most dominant nation vis-a-vis the rest of the world since ancient Rome. Well, that's not the case anymore. Trump has no idea what he's doing. He actually thought he was going to get some kind of deal from Putin. Of course he didn't. Of course we have China, 1.4 billion people, India, 1.4 billion people, and
1 billion
Putin doing photo ops. What a catastrophe. And all these motor mouths do is to the left, and the left, and this, and that. I don't know if this dude knows who I am, talking about me covering up for Biden.
But before, you're the guy that has Trump arrangements.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Carney. Come on, dog. Oh, bro. OG. Them OG, bro. My Democratic OG. You was covering up for Biden. Trump could do nothing right. Biden could do nothing wrong. And then when Biden was so wrong, you'd just be like, okay, well, I didn't agree with everything the Biden administration was doing. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It was TDS to the end, my friend. Like, we know how you was rocking all through the election. We know you was voting for Kamala. We know you hated Trump. And yes, you also protected Biden after that terrible performance. You was like, well, I'm old. We're all old. We have bad days. I don't know why you got to make something so big of it. It's like, because he's the president. And it's crazy because if Trump would have did anything that Biden, y'all would have lost your minds. So yes, the double standard is real with you guys. Because, man, let Trump ever come on stage bumbling like that. I'm asking for that man to be removed. If Trump was to ever pull a Biden, I'm asking for that man to be removed. Like, nah, he's done. He's done. He had some good years with us. He had the first term, and he had about the good 9 months. If this man came out bumbling like Biden the next month, he's done. Okay? He had a good run. He's 80 years old. Sit his ass down somewhere. We ain't gonna sit there and try to call y'all ageist and try to say that y'all are being unreasonable, unfair, and you're just hating Trump or whatever, which y'all do. But we're not gonna gaslight y'all like that, though.
Syndrome. The country's not doing great, James. James, is the country in shambles? Does the country respect? Are we on the world stage respected finally? You don't know. I don't need to know who you are. You look. Listen to. By the way, that's
guy
why the
with the red
Democratic
tomato
Party
face has like an
is in
IQ of
shambles,
5.
James,
You have no
because
political
of people like you. The
You really
Democratic
got
Party,
no political beliefs.
The Democratic Piers, I have to say this. Why is the Democratic?
I mean, actually, I think that's projection. Harry, do you have political beliefs, seeing that your political beliefs were paid for? Like, do you have some, my friend? Because I don't think I don't even think Harry's citizens really have a political belief. I think whoever fills up his pockets, who he's talking for. Because anybody that's willing to come out there after seeing Biden's performance and just like, oh, that's a bad day, dog, I don't even think you have political beliefs. I think you're just a paid shill for the party.
Party at a 35-year low of approval. It's because of people like you and Harry. Okay,
you don't have to scream, right? We can hear you.
On nothing.
Oh my god,
the party sucks.
Wait. Just to be clear. Just to be clear throughout.
The party's in
yeah. Okay,
shambles.
go ahead. Get it out. Get the anger out. I got it. I understand you're very heated right now. Just to be clear, throughout this
Harry,
20. Are you still going?
Why is the party?
Okay, go ahead.
Why is your party
Everybody let him have his temper tantrum.
Why is your approval rating low?
I mean,
Why-
there is a
why-
valid
explain that to me.
there is a valid question there. The Democrats
I
have
agree.
never historically been this
May I answer
unpopular.
it?
Yeah, you can,
When's
James.
the
Yeah.
last time a Democrat's lost an election since Trump been president? May I answer it? Did you watch? The Democrats are overperforming by over 15 points. We're on for a bet in Virginia. I'm spotting you 5 points. You're going to lose, Piers. You're going to lose bad.
I've already He ordered my state when you lose, James.
All these motor mouths, you're getting ready to get stomped.
Okay.
You're going to get stomped in Virginia. You're going to get stomped in New Jersey, and you're going to get stomped.
Yeah, but James, just hang on. On that point, hang on, guys. James,
the bet's on.
But James, there is no doubt that the polling shows the Democrat Party has never been so unpopular.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
What do you look at? Polls or election returns?
Bro, I'm sorry, that was Carney, that came from CNN and has been parroted by every left-leaning media. And that's kind of funny because they were being honest about it. Yes, left-wing media is being honest about the fact that they have the lowest recorded, registered voting registering numbers. They've lost voters while the Republicans gain voters. They lost 2 million, the Republicans gained 1 million. Yeah, that's a problem. And they don't want to address it because, well, they don't ever really want to hold their politicians accountable or really have to back up their rhetoric.
So we have deemed ourselves that election returns no longer matter in the United States. We're just going to talk about polls. Look at every election. Look at what's getting ready to happen. Harry, you take it from here.
Yeah, here's the thing, though, my man. If you're just betting on the usual scenario of, oh, well, it's always the president and party. It's always the party that's in power that ends up losing the House later on, or ends up losing seats later on in the midterms. But that might not happen, my friend, and it's not looking good in your favor since all these, states are looking to redistrict to add seats to their side. So, yeah, you may think it's going in that direction, but let's be real. Even this election kind of went unusually. Donald Trump ran as a goddamn felon and won. Anything's possible at this point. So if you don't think that Trump can win the presidency and win the midterm, we didn't even think bro was going to win the popular vote. We didn't even think he was going to win the election. We didn't even think he was going to win all seven swing states. If he can come through and win the midterm, and I want to know why I believe this, because you guys have not come up with no solutions, and all y'all have done is fear mongered on Trump. And that is not going to help y'all keep no seats. Actually, I might lose some. Well, y'all should lose some, to be quite honest. And this should be a good punch to the mouth to you guys, and maybe y'all change y'all ways. I think it's going to take the 2026 midterms for the Dems to learn their lesson. The presidency wasn't enough. They need to lose some seats. They need to lose more power for they actually learn what's going on.
You can handle these people.
James, if there's anybody here that can really dispose of these freaks, it's you. But I appreciate the honor. I just had to say that.
Am I one of the freaks? Am I one of the freaks?
No, Piers, you're not one of the freaks. I like you, Piers. I like you. We have good conversations. This guy over here who looks like a tomato actually looks like he's about to explode right now. This guy is on fire. He's raging. Throughout the 20-minute, look at him. He's going to do it again. He's going to do it again. Look. Throughout the entire 20-minute conversation we've had so far on your show, Piers, he has not outlined a single...
Didn't 11 girls come forward and kind of expose you for being a creep and a sexual deviant and a guy? Bro, hey, you know what? I kind of respect my man's, boldness, I guess. I always respect the bold. But, just sending news to a girl, talk about, hey, you trying to link, though. Bro, what type of game is that? What type of game is that? But hey, I respect the boldness though. Nude pic, hey, you trying to link? You gotta love it, man. The new generation is hilarious.
And say that you were coercing them to send nude photos.
Political belief.
That's Harry Sisson. Harry, you're the guy that was coercing 11 girls to send you nudes on Snapchat.
Yes, he was.
Wasn't that you allegedly in the news?
No.
Was that you in the news?
It wasn't. No.
You're the champion for women.
Yes, it was.
You're the champion for women. You're a scumbag.
Yeah.
You're a scumbag, Harry.
Do you want to keep raging right now? Look at you.
You're a scumbag.
Your face has turned color since you've got onto this show, by the way. Your face has changed.
Yeah, I just got back from vacation too.
No, you're screaming. There's like veins popping out of your face.
And do me a favor.
Oh my God.
Hey, Harry and James, who's going to be your front runner for 2028? Who's your front runner? Gavin Newsom? Or Pete Buttigieg, who's gonna run? Kamala? You both said Kamala was gonna win.
I mean, I'd have let him answer to that. I mean, yo, so what's up with those 11 girls and, them kind of complaining about you sexing them or sex texting them? It's like, what's up? What's up with that, buddy? And here's the thing. Isn't MAGA supposed to be the creeps and the incels and you do some creepy incel shit like that? I mean, that's a bit concerning. I mean, I guess projection is real.
Should we try and get things back on a more even keel? Let me bring in Sean again. Let me bring in Sean again. Sean, I mean, James Carville's very confident that notwithstanding the record low polling for the Democrat Party, that the forthcoming battle at the ballot box is going to be a nasty shock for Republicans.
And shout out to TB. Appreciate it, sis. She says Trump's been doing some pretty good things. I guess we'll see if people like these arguments, though. Yeah, I know. I guess we'll see if people like these arguments. You know what? I think people will like. Honestly, I think people just like the fact that they're standing up to Trump. That's it. That's all it is. There's no policy position. There's really no like charismatic candidate that win the people over in the Dems. It's just about hating Trump. That's the only argument they got. I'm really trying to hear like Dems, what is your argument about Trump? What's your argument? Tell me one way y'all feel like y'all can do his policy better. Please tell me. Instead of just calling him a dictator and a pedo. Please give me something. Show me that y'all are not just all bots. You're not just NPCs.
As it often historically is, right, in between general elections. What is your view of that?
Well, there's four major contests on the ballot. You've got California, which is doing a redistricting thing that Gavin Newsom put forward. I think that's going to go down. They won't pass that through, and Republicans will net between 7 and 10 seats in redistricting. So that's going to be an abject failure for the Democrats.
Today's show is brought to you by...
I mean, shoot, everything's an abject failure for the Democrats. It's like at this point, the Democrats are just praying, hoping and praying that Trump sinks himself. And that's a pathetic position. That's a very pathetic position to be in. That's what y'all waiting on. Actually, y'all trying to make sure that Trump fails by getting in the way with the courts. It's like you're hoping that America fails so you guys can have a political holding. It's like it's pathetic and sad. And we see right through it.
Enjoy my tea. And I'm very happy to say that today's show is sponsored by Peaks Pure Fermented Teas. These are not your average brews. They're sourced from 250-year-old wild trees in the Himalayan foothills, which are untouched by modern farming. No pesticides.
Himalaya foothill, not touched by modern farming. Only Himalayan toes been in those fields. You don't know nothing about that. That's real quality. Okay, I'm done. All right, let's get back to it.
EPI.
They will own. You've got New York. I believe that Mondami will be the mayor, and they will own that. They will own the policies of Zoran Mondami. And
I'm weak. He says NPCs got more brain cells than leftists, dude. Man, you know what? I'll give you that one. It do seem like they got a more, I would say, a more dynamic lexicon than they do, because all I'm hearing is just the same, 5 words come out these leftists' mouths, and I'm just like, come on, can y'all say anything else? Yeah, if anything else y'all disagree with, because this is why y'all gonna lose against Trump every single time. Like, if you guys hate the Republican Party, I would get working on some policies if I were you, because it sounds like y'all just about to let the Republican Party dominate, and nobody wants that. Like, of course, I want the Republican Party to win, but not dominate to where we damn near don't got no choice because the Dems are just such shitty options because you guys crashed out over Trump. Like, don't do that. Don't do that to us. Like, come on now. We still want. We hate the 2-party system. We would hate a 1-party one. I'll tell you that right now.
That's great. So Republicans have 13% of the vote in New York City. I don't think we have a shot there, but I will think that the outcome of that will be something that every Democrat will have to answer for. In New Jersey, Republicans are going to do a lot better than they ever have historically. Right now, I know James doesn't want to talk about polls, but you definitely have that within a single-digit contest right now for governor. And then in Virginia, we've got 3 races right now. I think it's a lot closer than people think. I think Winsome Sears has a real shot of pulling this thing out. I'd take James's bet, by the way. If he wants to spot 5 points, I'll take it. All right, how much?
You're out. I'm giving you 5.
No, let's put real money down, James. I'll do some real money.
You're on. I'm giving you 5 points. You're on for a dime. But to a gambler, that's $1,000. You're on.
Oh, okay.
Game on.
I'm not as big of a gamble.
Period.
All right, look, I think we're gonna shock people. Yeah.
Okay.
Considering the amount of money that the Democrats are pouring into Virginia. Yeah. Do you want to do all 3 races? All 3 races, or just the governors?
I'm talking about the governor's race. I'm spotting you 5 points. I'm giving you 5. So if she wins 52-48, you win. Even
I know.
if you
Actually,
lose by 4,
I
you see,
can
you
I
add
can lose
5.
4. I can lose by 5. Yeah.
I'm done. I'm weak. All right, okay, that's too cocky. Nah, okay, bro is talking a little too cocky then. He's pretty much saying, like, look, I'm so sure our Democratic candidate is gonna beat you. She could lose. Or I mean, no, she could win. And if she doesn't beat that man by 5 points, I'll give you $1,000. That's cocky as hell. That's like you saying, look, bro, I know I'm gonna win, but how much am I gonna beat your ass by though? It's like I know I'm gonna beat you in this game of basketball, but am I gonna 21 your ass or how's this gonna go? Because I know I'm gonna win, but how bad am I gonna win? Like that's pretty damn cocky to say. It's like, hey, yeah, even if she wins though, but look, look, there's only 2 ways you're gonna win this. Is either your candidate win, I pay that 1,000, or my candidate wins and she don't blow your candidate out the water, then you get that 1,000. Cocky.
Yeah, good. I'm for it.
I'm good. Got a bet with Pierce.
So there you
too.
go.
I got
see,
one with
this is-
Jesse Warren too.
But here's the thing that Pierce, it's important is when you get beyond the talking point, as I said, I just went through the 4 major races that are on the ballot this year. I don't think Republicans have anything to be ashamed of. We're going to do very well. They're going to lose that ballot initiative in California. The Democrats are going to own a socialist in New York. And then in New Jersey, Republicans have a good shot of winning that race. And at the very least, we're going to keep it within single digits, which should be scary for every Democrat out there thinking that New Jersey is now a potential purple state. And in Virginia, yeah, I think we're going to keep it a lot closer and probably pull this thing out at the end.
Harry Sissons, how is the Democrat Party going to align itself going forward? I mean, Mamdani is running away with it in New York, and great for him, but the party will have to own the fact you've got a pretty socialist guy then as New York mayor. Okay, they're going to defend that, but is that an indication of where the party thinks it should be going?
Yeah, but at least Mamdani is like he's being honest about it. A lot of these Dems they have very socialist like ways of thinking. They really don't like our capitalist way of our capitalist market or our capitalist economy. But I guess they tolerate it. But to be quite honest with you, a lot of Dems are socialists. They just don't admit it.
To actually win back,
because it's not politically correct, or it just kills their political stock. Because people like a capitalist. People want to know that there's opportunity, and not one day they're just going to wake up or vote, and now their choices are gone, and everybody's getting this state-given solution.
How?
The name of it is the Democratic Party, not the Democrat Party.
Okay.
A person from the UK that values language and exactness. A political party has a right to be called what it wants to be called.
My apologies.
You should call it the Democratic Party.
I've just apologized. I've apologized for my linguistic error. It is, of course, the Democratic Party. Thank you, Mr. Carville, for pointing out my mistake. And I'm big enough to admit when I'm wrong.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
So, Harry, the Democratic Party, which has currently never been more unpopular, appears to be veering sharp left. Is that really a smart move if you want to win a general election in the next general election?
What has a greater population, New York City or the combined population of Virginia and New Jersey? I happen to know the answer.
Okay.
It's by far the combined population of Virginia and New Jersey. See, when you just take a fact out, we got to do that, but we're not going to pay attention to that. We just can talk about this. All right. So I want to talk about this and I want to talk about that.
Okay, but my question, James, hang on, James, my question though.
We're going to, again,
can the Democratic Party, and I will emphasize it, can the Democratic Party win with a Mamdani-style agenda or not?
I'm not for Mamdani-style agenda, but let's see how he governs. We can win on what his primary talking point is, and that's the cost of living. And by the way, Donald Trump said he was going to get it down from day one, and we're going to have peace in Ukraine on day one. What day are we on? What world is he living in?
Well, considering that day one of this war started under Biden, I mean, shoot, y'all want to tackle that question as well? I mean, why did day one start under Biden? I mean, why did we have to depend on Trump to clean up Biden's mess? I mean, doesn't that kind of show his incompetence as a leader? I mean, Trump cleaned up immigration for Biden. He's trying to clean up the Ukrainian war, Israel, Gaza conflict. I mean, he just cleaned up all of Biden's messes, and y'all ain't y'all ain't appreciative. Y'all ain't, man, y'all need to put some respect on my man's name because he's cleaning up your mess. I mean, let's be real. Usually when somebody cleans your mess up for you, you're like, oh man, my bad. You know what? I appreciate that. You're actually a good guy. Yeah, cleaning up other people's mess even though you didn't do it. But somehow they're gonna blame you like you're the one who spilled the no, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's kind of crazy how they're blaming you like you're the one who broke the vase, but
all right.
All right.
I wouldn't worry too much. And there's a lot. One thing in the Democratic Party, there's diversity, the diversity of thought all across the board. But you can't look at one thing and make an overwhelming conclusion. And by the way, we're going to nominate a president in 2028. It's going to be a pretty talented person, whoever it is. So I'm not concerned even about that.
Oh yeah,
I know in 26.
Gavin Newsom.
Who's talented? What all y'all got is Pritzker and Westmore and AOC, and those are like your highest stock like politicians right now. It's Westmore, Pritzker, and AOC. Everybody else, I don't know, unless you got some like dark horse hiding in there who just some charismatic Obama figure. Then okay, cool. Please surprise me. But right now, it's looking kind of bleak for you guys. It's looking your future is looking a little bit non-existent. Well, in politics at least.
Gavin Newsom, because he's doing such a great job in California. Oh, by the way, because you asked, Piers, the Democratic Party, Democrat, whatever it is, what are your morals? What is your what are you going to do different? What's your policies? Because Piers, I wrote a couple down. Mutilating, gender ideology for kids, puberty blockers, hormone treatment, defund the police. Mamdani wants that. Letting illegals come in to rape and murder our freaking daughters. Weaponizing the DOJ and the FBI. I want to know, James, what is going to be your message? What is going to be so different that, mind you, Piers, the Republican bench, let me finish. The Republican bench is deep and it's filled with some ex-Democrats. RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Eric Trump, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance. Guys, and you guys want to make a bet? You are cooked in 2020. Because guess what, Piers? God forbid something does happen to the president. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine because people are waking up to the crap that is coming out of these people's mouths. You have no message.
With
you have
his
no leader.
38%
And you guys
approval
stand on
rating,
nothing.
for sure. You guys will be just good.
Harry, you are a
just
joke.
good. 38%
Harry,
approval rating.
you are a meme.
38%
Harry,
approval
you're a
rating.
meme.
38% approval rating. You guys are just great. You're just great. You and your 38%.
38% approval rating. I'm like, bro, I'm pretty sure that wasn't 2 million people who disapproved of Trump. But we know for sure 2 million people disapprove of the Democratic Party. So yeah, trust me, that's not the hit that you think it is. And Vinny, man, do better. You're a comedian, man. Well, why am I making the punchlines for you? Like, come on now. You're making a joke.
Nobody takes you serious.
Yeah.
Nobody takes you
Piers,
serious.
I don't think that name should stick.
Nobody
actually,
takes
but
you serious.
Well, I quite like the idea of you being a walking, talking meme. But Vinny, let Harry, let the walking, talking meme respond.
You really are.
Harry, you're a
Piers,
walking, talking meme. Respond.
Piers, this cannot stay.
Yeah.
It cannot stay.
I promise one thing.
There's nothing. There's nothing to even respond to when he speaks. All he does is just like scream, and he just provided a list of like Democratic priorities, which are a complete straw man. Like I actually don't know this guy's name, but you have absolutely no nuance in how you evaluate politics.
You said his name before. You're just being a dick. Come on now.
Here for an educated conversation.
So tell me what your party stands for.
Wait, hold on. Just be quiet for a second.
What's your party stand for?
I'm happy to answer if you just stop screaming for 5 seconds. We can all hear you. I promise. We can definitely hear you. At least Sean, who I have plenty of disagreements with, I'm doing it right now. At least Sean, who I have plenty of disagreements with, has come on here and been very respectful. He's,
go ahead and get to your point. It's kind of funny how Vinny kind of called you out. Like we know you're going to make a nice little side jab, which you know what? I mean, he deserves to do. He could get his little side jab in because Vinny has kind of steamrolled him the entire conversation, like railroad the hell out of this man, walked all over him.
Articulated his position. We have disagreements. That's perfectly fine. You're on here just screaming your face off. Now, let me tell you what the Democratic Party stands for. Build more housing, abundance. We want more houses to have more people in, and studies show time after time that.
How y'all gonna do that? Y'all want to build more housing? Okay, what more low-income housing? So we just have a whole bunch of new hoods and projects. Like, how are we doing this? What you want to do? Low-income housing with rent freezes so that it never gets repaired, and now we got a whole bunch of ghettos and projects. How do you plan on implementing this through capitalism? Because it has to be done through there, or else you're just gonna f up prices. I mean, they're not just about to build single family houses. You're going to try to build the apartment complexes. Like we know the game.
If you build more housing, rent comes down, right? That's number one. Number two, economic prosperity, opening up more job opportunities, investing in America like Joe Biden did with the Chips and Science Act, which, by the way, Donald Trump is going out there and bragging about. But in reality, it's the money that came from Joe Biden's bill that did that. Investing here, investing in technology of the future. And that includes, I know this is big and scary for you.
Nah, I'm gonna be real with you. That wasn't a good bill because he gave $250 billion to a losing chip company. So Intel couldn't really even act on that $250 billion that Biden gave them. They was stagnant with it because Biden gave it them for infrastructure, but they really need money for R&D, research and development, because their chips are falling behind. So that's the problem with the CHIPS Act. It didn't really address the problems of the chip manufacturer with Intel. We kind of just gave them money and said, no, just make chips over here that nobody's buying.
But renewable energy, that's one of the fastest growing sectors in America. It's providing well-paying jobs. China's currently beating us at it, and Donald Trump made it worse by defunding these things. Let's invest in America. Let's build more.
Because we're buying all of it from China, and we're not making it ourselves. That's the problem. All the wind farms, all that good stuff, all the solar panels made in China. So if we want to wing ourselves on China and be more independent as Americans, then we got to figure it out on our own, and it can't be through China.
Housing, and let's also just care for people. Let's stop kidnapping people off the street in masks, throwing.
You guys have not provided one case of a innocent civilian getting black masked and drugged into a car and raped and tossed back into the street. Have heard a case of that. Haven't heard a case of some guy getting picked up by somebody who they thought were ICE. They got the guy in the car, they rob his ass and throw his ass onto the street. I have not heard that. I have not heard one case of it. Once you guys bring a real case, okay. But other than that, you guys are fear mongering. And that's why everybody laughs when you guys say stuff like that. Well, you're just taking people off the street. No, we're not. ICE is not doing that. And y'all know this, but hey. It is what it is.
Them into vans. Let's get back to constitutional due process, which, 10, 20 years ago, you might think the Republican Party stands for. But today, you're going to come on here after I finish, and you're going to scream, Donald Trump's not doing that. Donald Trump's not doing that. After judge after judge after judge appointed by Reagan, Bush, Trump have said Donald Trump has violated X, Y, and Z's due process. So we, the Democrats.
No, actually, he did not. He did not violate any due process. Actually, when it came to Kilmar Garcia's deportation, it was an administrative error. It wasn't an error in due process. It was an administrative error that he got sent to El Salvador when he was supposed to get sent to a different country. That was it. There was no violation of due process. So you don't even know anything about that.
Democratic Party actually do stand for the Constitution. We stand for affordability. We want to make the economy more fair for people. You just come on here and scream your face off about culture war issues that don't exist. Neither James Carville nor I will say we think 10-year-olds should be having their genitalia cut off. But you live in a bubble where you think that actually is the reality.
Bro, the problem is, bro, Harry, you were literally defending trans ideology on here like a while ago. What are you talking about? I'm pretty sure I can go to your TikTok. I can find a video of you defending trans ideology and pretty much calling us transphobic for speaking out about it. So you can't sit there and say that, oh, we live in a bubble when, one, you guys make these arguments to our face. Yeah, bro, here's the thing. Like, you guys are insane sometimes because you say, oh, we're in a bubble. You're saying it to our face. We've seen here many times where Dems make the argument for women playing in or men playing in women's sports. We've seen that argument made so many times from the left, and y'all try to make it make sense. But y'all don't like to take account for y'all radicals. I mean, we take account for our radicals like the guy, like we do. We talking about our extreme white Christian nationals like the Groypers, Nick Fuentes' little fan group over there. We take accountability. Those guys are extremists. We don't really rock with them, but they do share some alignments with us. It is what it is. Like, why can't y'all do the same? It's like, look, man, we're both Dems, but they believe in chopping dicks off and we don't. But we're both Dems, though. It is what it is.
You cannot have an informed political discussion with someone like me or James Carville. And you can't take the example that Sean Spicer has set for you today and be an adult. Be an adult. That's all I ask.
Hey, listen, Harry, if anybody's talking about examples, so are you going to sit there and tell me that your Democratic messages build more houses? You are the one, for 4 years saying everything was good under Biden, inflation, the board. So Harry, as a Democrat, would you reverse border and open it up and bring all the illegals in? Is that what you would do? Because that's what your party did. That's what Alejandro Mayorkas said. Hold on. And you never said, hey, excuse me, I let you talk. Now this is why I scream, because you want to talk over me. So shut your ass up, all right?
Damn,
the border
Vinny.
open
A grown man, by the way. Look, Sean's even laughing at you. You're a grown man behaving like this. It's remarkable.
Fentanyl. How many people were killed out? Because see, you have no argument because you got to talk shit. Let me finish. How many Americans died of fentanyl?
Fentanyl deaths went down under Joe Biden.
Okay, let me bring in
fentanyl deaths
how many
went down
illegals?
under
Let me
Joe
bring in
Biden.
Sean
How many
Spicer.
illegals were?
Let me bring in Sean Spicer.
Yeah,
Please
you're
bring
a
in Sean
joke. You're
Spicer.
a joke.
Please
Sean,
bring in Sean Spicer. Please bring in
Sean,
Sean
as we
Spicer.
speak, we're now 43 minutes late for this press conference. It was heralded to be at 2 p.m. Eastern. What's going on here, do you think?
Well, look, I think we're going to find out in terms of what the substance is. This is not that unusual. I, as a guy that held several of these briefings and coordinated several of these announcements, a lot of times part of what happens is you've got additional things that want to get said or coordinated. I know that we all know that at least the belief is that this is all about the Space Force headquarters moving from Colorado to Alabama, but there's a potential other personnel announcements and other issues that are in front of the Department of Defense. There's a lot of crime issues. And so as you're getting ready, as I would brief the president in the past, you've got a lot of policy people in the Oval Office in this particular case. And there are probably people who are asking the president, can you bring up my issue? Can you talk about crime in D.C.? What are we doing about Illinois? But as you can imagine, there's a lot of things that are being discussed ahead of the president addressing the media and them coming into the Oval Office. And so that's number one. Number two, what you've also got to recognize, Piers, and I don't know this because I'm not looking at my phone while we do this.
I'm actually just doing that to check what's happening.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because one of the things.
All right, so I got to fact check him on that one because he said that the fentanyl deaths went down under Biden. Well, all right, let's get into that. At the end of Trump's term, 2020 to 2021 period, overdose deaths, including those from fentanyl, peaked at historical high levels in 2021. Let's see, fentanyl accounted for approximately 70,000 overdose deaths, representing nearly 64% of all drug overdose fatalities. In 2022, deaths involving synthetic opioids, aka fentanyl and other things, reached 73,000. So from the first year of Biden, from that first little 2020, 2021, and going on to the next year, it went up 3,000. Actually went up 3,800. So 3,833 more overdoses under Biden. So when he sat there and literally lied and just said, oh, no, it went down under Biden, I mean, after it hit historic highs, that's the problem. Like, they break records in deaths and crimes. And then when they finally bring it down from a record high, they talk about we brung down crime. After you hit a high score?
Things that is while the president will announce that it's at 2:00, the pool will come in, film it, and then leave.
Oh, if you want me to go on further, in 2024, at the end of his presidency, it was at 80,000. So yeah, no, fentanyl deaths did not go down under Joe Biden at all.
And air it. So in a 2:00 event, sometimes doesn't actually get aired until 2:30, 2:45. So we could literally, it could be happening right now. The pool will come in, cover the event, come out, and then feed it out to the other networks. So there's plenty of times when a live event isn't actually happening in real time. It's the media that comes in, captures the event, and then sends it out.
So I'm looking at something here where.
Yep. All right. Here it says here's the thing is though, the rate dropped. Wow. So right at the end of the year, Biden finally got it down to an overall overdose deaths dropped to 27%, to the lowest since 2019. So pretty much he got the deaths down to Trump level. He hit high scores during his presidency and he got it down to Trump level. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine getting praised for literally like what? Okay. So Trump pretty much keeps the fentanyl deaths at a minimum. Biden skyrockets it, it hits a record level, then it comes down to Trump's level. Not lower than Trump's level, but at Trump's level. Bro, how do y'all, that's not crime, that's not it going down. Especially when you say, oh, it went down more than Trump. It went down more than Trump. No, it didn't. Actually, it didn't even go down at all. Actually, it kept going up.
Scott Jennings, who does
just to see a reduction in the last couple months. I mean, shout out Biden for, somehow reducing that. But here's the thing. Biden did seem to try to, handle some things at the end of his presidency. He did look like he was on the rush, or at least the administration was on the rush to handle some things.
to say a formidable job as the kind of token conservative on CNN. Trump has phoned into him amid the health rumors. I'm listening to it now. So this is this morning. So that's this morning. Right. So, he is conducting some media. He is playing a bit of sport and so on. But of course, if you're 45 minutes late for a press conference when everyone is speculating that you're dead, which is obviously ludicrous, but if you are 45 minutes late, it will only fuel the rumors, won't it, Harry? Not that you're dead, but there's something wrong. Harry, you're muted, which many people would like to hear. But
I'm so sorry.
Many people prefer it.
No, how it feels.
You're back. Oh God.
Okay, you can't take Pierce's joke and then make it your own. It was funny when he said it, not funny when you said it. My God.
Just hurry up.
Jeez Louise. Anyway,
please, Harry.
I'm happy to just stop screaming your face off. Relax. It's okay. You're a grown adult.
Yeah,
I mean, Pierce, I think you're
hurry up, bro.
Right. Pierce, I think you're objectively right, regardless of political belief. Like, if this is the press conference that is supposed to be billed as the meeting that is going to convince people that you're healthy, being 45 minutes late is on its face concerning. Now, as Sean outlined, there could be things happening behind the scenes. It could be taking place right now. We have no idea. So I'm not one to dive into conspiracy. I don't really want to speculate on Trump had a stroke and now he's not coming for the I'm not about that. I think there could be something happening, but things come up in the president's
life. The various things we've heard is that the Department of Defense may be renamed Department of War. There's the theory that Sean put forward about the movement in fact, Sean, just explain the significance of. All right,
so the pool report right now.
Vinny literally came in with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, I don't know, maybe he heard something from Harry before the show, but this man has been on his ass the entire time for the entire 40 minutes.
So he says that at 2:40, which is 7 minutes ago, they moved into the Oval. So the press has assembled in the Oval Office as of 2:40, according to the Washington bureau chief of the Los Angeles Times.
Yeah, and the movement of the military base, I think you were alluding to. What is the significance of that?
So Space Force, which was created under Trump's first term, was initially President Trump had said there was going to be in Huntsville, Alabama. There's a lot of assets there that had already existed. There's an arsenal down in Alabama. Colorado made a play for it based on some existing headquarter assets that were there, mostly temporary. Biden pushed it to Colorado. A final decision has never been made. I think what's going to happen is Trump will officially move it to Huntsville, Alabama. This is big for obviously jobs, right? So the one thing I would say just from a policy standpoint is Biden's Secretary of the Air Force at the time did agree that it was both cheaper and more advantageous for Huntsville to be the home of Space Force.
Okay.
There's a lot of financial aspects and jobs.
Sean, because we think the president has now arrived. Let's just take a little listen to some of this.
And so I want to thank you all for being here for this important announcement, 7 years in the making. As you know, this has been going on for a long period of time. And I am thrilled to report that the U.S. Space Command headquarters will move to the beautiful locale of a place called Huntsville, Alabama, forever to be known from this point forward as Rocket City.
Something completely different, but about a big viral social media trend over the weekend. How did you find out over the weekend that you were dead? You see that?
No.
People didn't see it for a couple days. 1.3 million user engagements as of Saturday morning about your demise.
Really? I didn't see that. I have heard, it's sort of crazy, but last week I did numerous news conferences, all successful. They went very well, like this is going very well. And then I didn't do any for 2 days, and they said, there must be something wrong with him. Biden wouldn't do them for months. You wouldn't see him. And nobody ever said there was ever anything wrong with him. And we know he wasn't in the greatest of shape. No, I heard that. I get reports.
That was actually funny about both Biden and Kamala. They rarely did interviews. Really, Kamala didn't do no interview until she until she was running for president, which is kind of crazy.
Now, you knew I did an interview that lasted for about an hour and a half with somebody, and everybody saw that was on one of your competitors. I did numerous shows and also did a number of truths, long truths, and I think pretty poignant truths. No, I was very active over the weekend. They also knew I went out to visit some people at the club that I own, pretty nearby on the Potomac River. And no, I've been very active actually over the weekend. I didn't hear that one. That's pretty serious stuff. Well, it's fake news. It's just it's so fake. That's why the media has so little credibility. I knew they were saying, like, is he okay? How's he feeling? What's wrong? I said, I just left. And it's also sort of a longer weekend, it's Labor Day weekend. So I would say a lot of people know I was very active this Labor Day.
So that's the President of the United States. We've lost James Carville. Obviously, he wasn't going to hang around.
Piers, he's probably crying. He's probably crying because he's okay. He's probably pissed off that the president's okay. A lot of these people, Piers, I'm telling you right now, I am. Look at Piers. Can I say one thing? 80 years old, has been going. Hey, Harry, please just be a child and just shut your mouth.
I haven't said a word.
Right?
I haven't said a word.
This guy is 80 years old. Is almost 80 years old. For the past 10 years, Piers, all he's been doing is going for America 100%, regardless of the spying, the Russia bullshit, Obama's DOJ spying, from Hillary Clinton with the fake freaking, all the bullshit that they did for all the years, the fake impeachments, all the lawfare. And look at him. He finally takes a couple days off. He finally shows that he's human. And these people are like, oh my God, he might be dead. It's like, bro, shut up. All right.
Okay.
Donald Trump, if he keeps going, Piers, for 3 more years, he is going to go down as one of the greatest presidents in the history of this country.
Okay.
Period. End of story. Full stop.
Well, the one question I have for Harry is,
Harry, you're gonna have a
Harry, are you pleased to see President Trump looking so apparently well and healthy?
Well, yes, I never wish death on Donald Trump.
So you're pleased he looks healthy.
Yeah, I don't want Donald Trump to die. I'm not. Yes. I don't think he looks healthy there per se, but I'm glad that.
Okay, I'm about to say. I mean, he never wished health on Donald. He never wished death on Donald Trump, but you have wished sickness on the man at a certain point. It's like you damn near try to speak it into existence. Like, doesn't he look old? Does he look elder? Doesn't look like he's falling apart, guys, right before our eyes. No, Harry. No, he doesn't. That's just you.
He's alive, of course. But Piers, I will say, just after listening to him, the red man, throughout this entire conversation, I do want to say that I never appreciated how hard your job is to listen to people like this guy just scream for 45 minutes to an hour almost every day. So I do want to show you an ounce of respect right now, just for listening to this guy. It's a lot, Pierre. So genuinely, I want to.
I love Vinny's passion, and actually, I think Vinny's complexion.
You voted for.
Vinny's complexion is clearly a Labor Day weekend spent enjoying himself in the sunshine.
Yeah. Look, he's so angry. I just love how angry he's gotten throughout this conversation.
Harry.
Look, he's still going. He falls for it every time. You walk right into it every time. You have like the IQ of a goldfish. So when I say something like that, you do it.
Harry, you should steal from Gavin Newsom, start a clothing line that says,
look, he's going again.
I was wrong about everything. Wrong about everything.
He's
going again.
Let me end with Sean Spicer. We're looking at live pictures of his hand, Sean, which looks like it's had a bit of makeup attached to it. Are we just all losing our minds here? I mean, if you look at any 79-year-old man's hand,
definitely
probably occasionally have a bit of bruising and stuff. He looked perfectly normal to me. Obviously, we don't know if there's anything else, but it looks to me like this has been a bit of a manufactured crisis.
Well, there's 2 things I'd say. One, it's a bit creepy that we're staring at his hands.
Yeah.
I guess it's probably better than his feet. But I will say that, look, the White House proactively came out and addressed these issues. So Caroline Leavitt took to the White House podium a few weeks ago, it's probably a month or so now, and address those issues proactively. This is a sharp contrast from what we did see. This is how it should be handled. People are going to have medical issues all the time, whether sometimes you bruise easy, sometimes you have a particular situation, sometimes there's a abnormality that has occurred or a medical condition that comes upon you. The question is whether or not the White House is being transparent. In this case, they have. Right. So you may not like President Trump. You may not agree with his policies. But at the end of the day, we are all Americans. I never wish Joe Biden any harm. While he was in office, we need a strong chief executive, a strong president to be the leader of the free world while they're in office. But at the end of the day, President Trump and his team have thoroughly explained what's going on and the issues that he faces. So I really think there's a big difference between real issues that he's facing and speculation, which is what we saw this weekend, and why it was unfounded, Pierce. And this is what was so weird, is that there are media pools that stay around the president 24/7. They were reporting on his movement. There were pictures of him on the golf course. There was a picture of him with his granddaughter. So the idea that he was missing in action or unseen is just patently false. He sat down for an hour with Reagan Reese of the Daily Caller. There were photos of that interaction. There was a transcript release of that interaction. So there's one thing for people to speculate. There's another thing for them to lie. And in this case, these were lies, because we saw President Trump. We saw him on Truth Social. We saw him physically on the golf course. And then we saw him in the Oval Office give that interview. So I think there's a big difference between speculation.
Well, you know what?
Actual...
I mean, look, the bottom line is that the best way to shut the gossips up actually is to do what Trump just did, which is to walk out in the Oval Office, sound and look completely normal, and go about normal business. That actually, in the end, is the best way to shut everybody up. For now, anyway. And I've got to shut you guys up for now. I would have shut James Carville up, but he's disappeared. But thank you all very much, gentlemen. Thoroughly enjoyable. And welcome back to Uncensored.
I do wonder what you find thoroughly. If you found that thoroughly enjoyable, James, Pierce, I am concerned about your social
I'm
life.
a very weird British guy. We get amused by the weirdest of things. I mean, I'm laughing now because Vinny appears to have blown up. There he is. He's back. Guys, great to have you all back. Thank you very much.
Take care. See you.
And shout out to my man Jay. He said, I'd ask Melania why his hands is bruised. Yeah, you know what? That's actually a good person to ask. Shoot, a wife should know everything. But all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and head out on this one. All right, I'll catch you guys tomorrow night around 3. Well, tomorrow morning around 3 o'clock. I appreciate the support. Make sure you guys double tap that screen and like the video. I will catch you guys tomorrow. This is Set with Set Media. You guys have a good morning and stay safe out there, man. Peace. Guys, today modern AI is quite advanced, except 2 problems. It is censored and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't. But let me introduce you to one. Shout out to my sponsor, Venice AI, which allows you to protect your information and avoid censorship. Now ask yourself, why should a team of programmers at these leading AI apps be the ones to decide what is okay for you to ask and think? Also, would you be comfortable if the presidential administration could govern what AI tells you? Man, I know I wouldn't. But also, while you think about that, did you know that? Let me tell you this, it's gonna be crazy, but ChatGPT has a former director of the NSA sitting on their board right now, guys. And shout out to that man, Edward Snowden. He called this a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. And we all know how Alexa is. Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. I mean, talk about a violation of privacy. But guys, these are just a few reasons I decided to team up with Venice AI and get you a better options or solutions to your AI needs. Now, guys, you can go ahead and check these guys out with my promo code. So shout out to Venice AI. Now, if you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or government, you can get 20% off a pro plan using my link, Venice AI SET, and use the code SET. Man, so shout out, guys. So make sure you guys use the code. Put it up one more time for you guys right there. Once again, guys, if you guys want to go ahead and have unleashed AI, uncensored AI, go ahead and tap in with my guys at Venice AI, guys. Hey, this is Set and appreciate the support. And shout out to the sponsor.